Welcome to TWitWoW, the best podcast on the internet today. I'm John, that's my core and commentary Ashton, and this is the TWitWoW weekly recap, all things pro wrestling, politics, and pop culture. Let's just dive right into it. Saturday night's main event concluded a little while ago. And SummerSlam card is pretty much staying intact. We are still just getting Cody versus Punk. It will not become a fatal four-way because Nick Aldis screwed Gunther and Sammy. Emphasis on Gunther, though. That's where Aldis's beef is. Pulled the referee out of the ring when Gunther seemingly had the pin on, I want to say, Cody. And Gunther realized what happened. He started to complain again. Aldis hit him in the face with the championship. Punk hit GTS, put Cody's body on Gunther. 1, 2, 3. I figured this was going to happen. I had no pretensions otherwise. It was going to go the other way. As much as I love Gunther, like, they've already given up on, like, and they gave up a while ago, in my opinion, of making him like this guy to feed like the next big babyface, like we wanted them to do on the podcast. So him eating the pin honestly didn't even perturb me because again, they already gave up that design. And honestly, at this point, I'm kind of glad they protected Sammy because I'm curious where his character's going to go now that he's lost the title. I know on SmackDown he was wearing a Justice for Sammy shirt. Either he's going to continue to be a heel that gets a decent amount of heat, or, and this has crossed my mind, this could go the Becky Lynch route when she initially turned heel and fans just grow to love him again and they want to see him get his redemption in an actual title run. I still don't know if we have a verdict on that because it's still so fresh, but I am happy he didn't eat the pin here. I like Nick Aldis. I was never the biggest like fan of Magnus in TNA. I didn't hate him by any means. I thought he was decent. The match between him and Gunther at this stage when he hasn't wrestled in so long, I don't really know if that excites me. Gunther's just been kind of all over the place for me, so I really don't even know how I feel about this. Like I guess I just wasn't surprised. Do you have any thoughts about this?
Very few. I would say that I might be more excited to see Aldis back in the ring than you, but I will agree that he was always a little bit more on the boring side in TNA. He had a really long NWA World Title run, and I'm really more just curious how WWE is going to present him. Are they going to allow him to kind of like expose to the world his power level and be like, look how fucking shredded I am. I'm actually a good wrestler too, and I can actually go toe to toe with Gunther? Or are they going to treat him more like a citizen kind of thing, where it's like, no, I'm just a dude who used to wrestle. I'm not like that guy anymore. And Gunther's just going to kind of do to him the way that he handled Pat McAfee in their match, kind of thing.
Yeah. So we'll see about that. We know we have new women's tag team champions, Fatal Influence, finally getting on the board after seemingly being cooled off a little bit because we know JC Jane on Friday lost to Tiffany Stratton to qualify for the interim World Women's Champion ladder match because Rhea has to temporarily vacate. They're not stripping her completely. That's why I said interim because I imagine when
Yeah,
Rhea comes
because
back, they're
that's
gonna have
the
a
thing.
belt.
They're protecting the hell
Yeah.
out of Rhea. They aren't having her vacate at all. She is still champion. They're just naming an interim champion so that they have somebody to call women's champion on SmackDown while Rhea recovers.
And then when Rhea comes back, we're probably going to do an undisputed women's
Unification.
championship match.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And look, I like Rhea, no hate, but I always just prefer when you just rip the band-aid clean off and you do a vacate and whatever. But Rhea's already had to do that once. Maybe they didn't want to do her dirty twice. I don't know. So, yeah, Tiffany qualified. Now, Tiffany's already the women's U.S. champion. So, like, I've been ambivalent on JC. I've actually likened her a few times on the podcast to early 2000s Chris Jericho. But I wouldn't have minded her in this because it's 5 women and it's a ladder match. I feel like whatever problems I have with her aren't going to be magnified in that type of match, in my opinion. Whereas Tiffany, obviously, it's going to be for the cool spots, maybe even a moonsault off a ladder, who knows. But yeah, I'm curious who else will be in it. I feel like we might have even gotten one other name, but it's not coming to me. I think Jade did Jade qualify? Because I feel like Jade faced Nia in a match or something. Was that for a ladder match spot? Do you know?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, because I
I
know
will say
Charlotte
though,
and
it was not against Nia. Nia has a qualifying match against Charlotte Flair coming up. Okay. My mom just corrected me. It was against Nia, but they gave Nia another match against Charlotte. So we have 2 women that are officially in the 5-way. It's Tiffany and Jade, and the third one will be either Charlotte or Nia. Plus, there's 2 more to be determined.
just gonna be honest, and I'm speaking solely from my personal taste, not trying to be a hater. I'm really not excited about the interim champion so
Well,
far.
no, I
I've been
mean, dude,
excited this is the
we
crop.
were kind of talking about
Yeah,
this last night. Unfortunately, we weren't live. Sometimes I think it would be fun to just kind of randomly go live when we have a thought. But
yeah,
like the SmackDown Women's Division is in dire straits right now. It is genuinely horrible. Like there is nothing going on the SmackDown Women's Division. It is really bad.
yeah. It's a rough go, brother. Meanwhile, Raw's doing okay. Although I will say there, like, I I personally feel the absence of Bianca and Naomi and even Stephanie
Well,
Vaquer, who like I wasn't a big fan of, but like I could tell how talented she was. But I feel
yeah,
like you were getting ready to say something.
twice now. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. Bianca is a SmackDown, or at least she's listed as a SmackDown superstar on the roster, and even I'm looking at the SmackDown Women's roster, and I'm looking at how bad it is, and Blake Monroe is easily the most interesting person there, but they aren't doing anything with her. They have her randomly attack someone backstage every week. Chelsea Green is probably the next most interesting, and they're pairing her up with Tiffany, so they're going out of their way to send a signal to the world that Chelsea isn't a star on her own. She has to be backing someone else up, right? They just put the tag titles on Fatal Influence now. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Actually, when I was ready to pivot back to Saturday night's main event, yeah, that was gonna be the next thing I was talking about. Was that yeah,
Yeah,
they did win the titles.
they just took the U.S. title off of Julia relatively recently, and I assumed that she was going to have more of a substantial feud with Kiana James, but they haven't been doing anything. Lash Legend is nowhere to be seen. There are talented women on the SmackDown roster. I just saw a story today. Apparently, WWE Creative has nothing planned for Jordan Grace in the near future. I'm not the biggest Jordan Grace fan, but I would still rather watch a Jordan Grace match than an Alexa Bliss match, than a Charlotte Flair match, than a Nia Jax match, than a Jade Cargill match, than a Tiffany Stratton match, than any member of Fatal Influence in the ring, frankly. Like, you know, not having anything, and add Meech into that list too. She is basically now just a lackey for Jade. It feels like SmackDown kind of has a similar issue to AEW, actually, where the roster isn't necessarily lacking talent. They're just choosing to feature all the wrong people.
Yeah, absolutely. Because here's the thing, man. If it's a five-woman ladder match and you
Yeah.
already are filling three spots with talent of that quality, when Jordan Grace, Kiana James, Julia, Blake Monroe, are all kind of sitting on the proverbial shelf,
Yeah.
that's wackadoo to me.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
yeah,
And like
yeah,
you mentioned
yeah.
Raw, I think Raw has a way more talented women's roster because you've got Bailey, you've got Becky, you've got Io, you've got Liv. I mean, Lyra had an amazing showing tonight on Saturday night's main event. There's a lot more. Sol Ruka, I didn't even mention her. Roxanne Perez, you mentioned Stephanie Vaquer. I definitely agree with you that Naomi coming back will help things, but even then, I almost have to wonder if Naomi would be better suited just helping the SmackDown Women's Division, or if they want to keep her on Raw. I really don't know, but like, I think from a maybe I don't know, maybe it's a problem of like embarrassment of riches where like there's so many women on SmackDown that it gives the SmackDown creative team the ability to misuse the wrong ones and over push the wrong ones. Whereas on Raw, like, who are you going to over push? They're not going to over push like Ivy Nile. We just had Maxine Dupree become Austin Theory's girlfriend rather than having her own character. Natalia's doing her thing in NXT, so they're not going to use her on Raw. It's like the only women that are actually there on the Raw roster to be used are the talented ones. Whereas SmackDown has like 15 women, half of them are good, and the other half are the ones that are actually getting used.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a very interesting time. But since we already mentioned Fatal Influence winning the titles, we don't need to go too deep into that. I mean, I don't even know who the next champs will be after them. My dream, my end goal has always been Tayra, Lyra and Tatum being tag champs. But given that Lyra is just seemingly having this heel run now, I don't really even know where that leaves
Yeah, no,
anything
I
anymore.
definitely don't think that Tara are going to be the next tag champs. If they win the tag titles anytime soon at all, it will be after the team, the babyface team that beats Fatal Influence, however long that takes.
Yes, which for all we know could be Charlotte and Bliss again. Honestly, I think my money's
Technically,
low
you're
key
right.
kind
It
of on that right now.
absolutely could be. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
but
could just put
you're
the
right.
titles back on Paige and Brie, and I wouldn't be shocked.
I really wouldn't be either. I do agree though, from the clips that I saw of Bailey versus Lyra, I mean these two have such great chemistry.
Yeah.
Like they never miss. I like Lyra's new submission, and you know what? It's very old school because I know we don't necessarily fucks with this guy, but I know Jim Cornette's always been of the belief that like submission finishers are usually more of a heel thing in his mind, and Lyra clearly agrees because I like that submission she was using. Pretty much was like a bully choke more or less from what I saw. And Bailey sold it well. She sold the post match beatdown well. And Lyra, I gotta give her credit because I think like crazy gimmicks and stuff like that are played off. Never forget, crazy Nikki Cross. But like, she's not annoying me with it so far, and I think she's keeping the craziness more to like the aesthetic than anything else. Because with her promo, it's not like she's changing her diction or anything like that. She definitely sounds more like vexed and exhausted in a certain way, but it's not like hammy. So I'm kind of enjoying what Lyra's doing with it. I have to wonder if she's going to regain the Women's Intercontinental Championship now. Like if she's going to be Soul's like next feud, because Lyra was the first ever woman to win that title, and then she lost it, and then she lost the ability to ever challenge for it as long as Becky was champ, thanks to Bailey.
Right.
And now that Bailey's taken care of, I wonder if Lyra's going to like time's a flat
Laser
circle. She's going to
focus
come
on
for
that
Soul.
title for sure. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense for sure.
Yeah, I'm actually, you know what? Now that I say it out loud, I'm just gonna run with it. I think that's what Lyra does next.
Yeah.
What Bailey does next, I have no clue. Like, I really feel like
The way that Lyra beat her down after winning the match makes me almost wonder if Bailey might be out of town, maybe leaving Raw for SmackDown, or maybe leaving WWE for AEW. There have been rumors about that swirling quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, look, if Bailey feels like I only have so many years of my career left, and my best friend is in another company, I'm just doing basic math here in my mind. So we'll see. And yeah, I think that's pretty much a good survey again of all the worthwhile. Because again, we're not a recap show. We only talk about things that we feel like can actually make a conversation good or bad. So I feel like everything else in Saturday Night's Main Event, like I don't really see the need to talk about Danhausen or anything else.
No.
So and we kind of touched a bit on SmackDown. I don't really know if there's anything else to really mention there either looking at it. So then working backwards to Raw. Biggest thing on Raw, happy for this dude, Chad Gable, going to fucking SummerSlam to face Penta for the IC title.
Mm-hmm.
Really loving the reaction that Gable's been getting from the crowd. And it's funny. See, and this is where WWE, because I definitely believe they're trying to use AI to write storylines just based on the quality, or maybe I want to believe that because I don't want to believe that humans could write something this bad, although they very obviously can.
Brother,
but there are
humans
times
wrote Mark Henry giving
birth to a hand.
yeah, with Mae Young. I was about to say that was all humans. That was all like Vince Russo and cocaine. So like, you don't need AI to write bullshit.
Don't do drugs, kids, or at least do the right kinds of drugs.
Yeah, Adderall, not cocaine.
Yeah, exactly. But to give credit on the other side, though, because what I like is we have to remember that it was Penta's debut match against Gable that Gable lost that sent him down this spiral of becoming El Grande Americano.
Yeah.
So the idea that he's on this redemption tour and now it leads him again to facing Penta, this time with gold on the line. And not only that, the gold that made him initially turn heel, because before El Grande Americano, Gable was a heel, and he was a heel because he couldn't win the Intercontinental title. So it's like both of the things that sent him down the dark path, Penta and the IC title, all in one match. I mean, look, give credit where it's due. That's strong fucking writing to me. And the question becomes,
it would be better writing if we didn't have a face versus face situation here, because Penta is still very beloved as the IC champion, and Chad also being a babyface and being like a fiery, relatively new and novel babyface going after Penta. I am worried that Chad is going to win and derail Penta's momentum, and I think that would be almost as problematic. Now, obviously not on the same level, but similarly problematic to the whole fucking El Grande Americano storyline in the first place.
Here's the thing. I have to push back a little bit because I sympathize with your concerns, but I actually do like that it's face versus face because the whole story to me is has Chad Gable truly redeemed himself? Has he truly changed?
Right.
So he has to face a good guy to see, like, can you wrestle above board? Can your wrestling ability, without you, like, cheating or, like, feeding that darkness,
Right.
can you do it? So I feel like it needs to be face versus face because Gable needs to be the face because it's about his redemption, but Penta needs to be the face because that's the obstacle of his morals that he's trying to forge as a person and as a competitor.
Can
So
I
I
run
think
something
narratively
by
it
you?
works. Of course.
Do you think that it would be better for Chad's character? Because this, I'll admit, this is entirely me fantasy booking and it's me hoping, and it's not something that I'm betting on actually happening. If we had to do preview predictions for SummerSlam right now, I would predict Gable to win. But in my opinion, and I just want to get an idea of if you agree with me on this, it would be significantly better for Gable's character if he lost to Penta here, which would then give him the opportunity to show that he is still a good guy, even when things aren't all going his way. Shake Penta's hand, maybe even get down on his knees and do like some kind of respectful bow to Penta. Just really humble the shit out of himself post match. Nothing aggressive. Raise the hand, do the baby face point at the winner thing, and leave respectfully. And whoever the big heel is that is planned to go after Penta after this, that will be the guy that Chad beats for the IC title down the line.
You know what? That you and I are on the same wavelength because I don't know who I'm predicting right now either. And I'll be honest, as a fan, I would pop hard if Gable just won here. But I absolutely unequivocally get where you're coming from that vantage point because you're right. I think real change, real redemption, and we've seen it in all kinds of media, and we've known people like this in life. It's good. It's easy to be good when things are easy.
Yeah.
It's a real testament and a real challenge when things are hard. And we know the last time things got hard in Gable's career, he cracked. Maybe he needs to go through adversity again just to see if he's really learned anything. So I'm definitely open to you there for
Okay.
sure.
That makes me
Um,
feel better knowing that I'm not alone here. So,
no, certainly not. I just wanted to give you the counterpoint of why it's important for Penta to be face, in my opinion. But I definitely see where you're coming from as well on that side.
yeah, I could
Um,
see a world where it's just Dominic Mysterio again. And then frankly, that even works with the whole story because we also know that Dominic Mysterio is a huge heel in AAA. And so you could have Dom go after Penta, go after the IC title, and you could have him lose the AAA Mega Championship to Ludwig Kaiser's El Grande Americano in Mexico, then come back to the US all pissy and vinegar, talking about how, oh, that title doesn't mean shit. This title's where it's at. And have Chad be the one to get redemption and kind of get revenge for Lucha Libre in general by beating him for the IC title then too.
yes, yes. Now I want to be perfectly clear about something here. This is not me trying to end the Raw segment. If there are other segments from Raw you want to talk about, you're free. I only have one more segment I want to talk about. Mainly because I have a question for you, because in my mind the answer is yes. So we know that with the Vision, Maxine Dupree has turned heel. They did this whole thing with Alpha Academy where Otis tried to get Maxine back from the dark side, was about to confess his feelings for her. Austin Theory laughed at it, and then they kind of had a match. The Vision and Alpha Academy. Maxine kind of played on Otis's feelings. Austin capitalized and they got the win. But
There
then
was no
what I
match,
want to
brother.
talk
There was no match
Oh,
at
there was no
all.
match. It was just a segment. Okay, it was just a
Yeah,
segment. My
no, it
mistake.
was literally just Theory made fun of Otis. There was a brawl, if that's what you mean. There was a brawl, and it led to Otis basically threatening to destroy Theory. Maxine got between them, turned Otis around so his back was facing Theory, acted like she was going to kiss Otis, and right before their lips touched, you just see Otis wince in pain, and then the camera kind of pans out, and we see Theory low blowed him.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then
Yes.
Maxine gets the smile. She talks her shit. Do you really think you ever had a chance with me? Type shit. And it's
Yeah.
revealed that she was just playing him. And then the segment closes with her and Theory stepping on Otis's belly. I think it might have been his back. I don't remember. It was probably his belly. And standing
Yeah.
tall to end the segment.
Yeah. Yeah. So we already talked about all our thoughts on this last week. That's not why I'm bringing this up again. The interesting wrinkle now, though, is Heyman in kayfabe seems like he's really, appreciating the job Maxine's doing, and he's saying, well, you guys don't need me anymore. He realizes how the Vision is just really taking a lot of hits. He's like, my name can't be associated with this. This is Curtis Axel all over again. And so he's
Wait,
like, Maxine, have fun with it.
really? Because this confused me. I would be lying if I acted like I understood what the hell was going on here. Because it came off like Heyman. So you're interpreting this as Heyman trying to wash his hands clean of the Vision because he sees it as such a mess that it's irredeemable, and he's trying to like compliment them in such a way that grows their egos enough that they won't question him getting the fuck out of there.
Yeah, I mean, because that backstage segment, now maybe Chad would disagree with me. I got the vibe that he's like, well, Maxine's kind of, manager now, kind of helping you guys give it, like, you don't really need me anymore. And
right, but I think my problem is that I read that as sincerity. I read that as Heyman genuinely complimenting Maxine and being like, she's doing a great job. You don't need me anymore. And I was very confused by that because what the fuck has she done to warrant that kind of compliment from him?
I mean, she helped him regain the tag titles for one. And maybe Heyman's just like, okay, that's a step in the right direction. But here's the thing. Even if you and I fundamentally interpret that segment differently, which I guess our different interpretation could inform this question, so it does matter. But really what I was getting at was, do you think long term, I'm not saying next week or even a month from now, do you think he's going to end up back with fucking Bloodline 2.0? Like, I just get this sinking feeling he's going to end up back with Roman because everybody else has.
I'll tell you why I don't. I think because Roman is such an absolutely nuclear babyface right now, and anyone associated with Paul Heyman gets heat. I don't think they're going to pair them up anytime soon, at least. I mean, maybe if they want to turn Roman heel again and have him be like a true bad guy again, but I think we're at the point now that it might be past the point of no return of that reunion happening.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to concede the point, but I am kind of watching things because I'm wondering if they're going to have Solo forcibly reintegrated into the Bloodline. Like, I almost wonder if we're getting ready for like a super Bloodline where it's like, think about Smash Ultimate, like everybody's here. We got Solo, we got Jacob, we got Jimmy and Jay, we even got Sammy who's so in the corner seething over losing his WWE title, and we got the Wise Man. Like, I don't know. I just call it cynicism, call it being silly, because I am still disconnected from the product. I'm slowly trying to like watch more stuff so I have more to talk about, but yeah, I just get this vibe, like, are they going to put them back together? So I'm not closing the book on it, but I do appreciate what you're saying. That said, was there anything from Raw you wanted to talk about that I didn't touch on? Because again, I didn't want to close the book on Raw until you said your full piece.
I'm assuming you didn't watch Raw. I would recommend going back and watching the match between Io and Roxanne. It was pretty solid.
You know what? I probably will, because those two are at the top of their fucking game, and I still can't wait for a Roxanne babyface run.
Yeah,
that shit's gonna eat.
The Gauntlet was fun too, but maybe just start with Javon versus Dragon Lee segment, and that way you kind of skip over the Joe Hendry Dominic Mysterio shit.
Yeah, I mean, bro. Stuff. Yeah. I watched one of those like wrestling MVs because I've gotten back into those like the last 2 years. That's another thing for matches that I didn't watch, but like I could watch highlights of because it makes it faster and shit. Yeah, that's another resource I use outside of just general YouTube clips. And so I watched an MV of the Gauntlet, and yeah, it seemed like had good energy. And again, super happy for Gable that he won. So I guess really, oh yeah, well I did watch this segment, Oba destroying police in front of Brock Lesnar.
I love the way you phrased that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of how YouTube phrased it. Forget aura farming. Like, he just is the entire farm. He is the entire aura industry, is Obafemi. He's got a fucking monopoly on this shit. This dude is just on another level, and he's like quite a few years off from 30 yet. Like, it's just insane that he's this good already. And yeah, like what I love is the little points where I think Brock still believes his own hype, but you could tell the look on Heyman's face, like he knows Oba's legit. And like, I don't think Heyman in kayfabe really knows for sure that Brock can beat Oba in Hell in a Cell. And I love that little bit of character work. I think Heyman has doubts. He won't voice him to Brock because Heyman's a sniveling coward that values his own life. Yeah. But I think he looks at Oba and he's thinking, my God, this is exactly when Brock Lesnar came to the company. Which, the last time I thought WWE had a monster character like that was Braun Strowman, and man, did that age like milk. Obafemi is definitely far more of the next big thing kind of energy than I think Braun ever was, because he can fucking talk on top of everything else. And yeah, I think Heyman
Yeah,
looks at
with
Oba and he's
Strowman, it
like,
was
my God,
always
yeah,
about just the catchphrases, just the "I'm not
yeah.
finished with you," that shit. Like, yeah, that was the big thing with Strowman, and that even kind of came about by an accident, and it just kind of worked out positively for him.
I,
I'm convinced that if he didn't say that in that segment where he was flipping cars and shit, that
yeah.
dude's career would have ended so much sooner than it did. It was literally just the catchphrase that kept him over long enough to sustain a career.
Hey, that happens more in pro wrestling than we care to admit, I think. I do want to acknowledge something that Bestie said. She said, "I'm concerned that after Oba beats Brock, Heyman is going to try and partner up with Oba." I've had similar thoughts actually, and I agree with her that I hope it doesn't happen. Oba is such a gigantic babyface, and again, I wouldn't. When we say pair up, we don't mean immediately after SummerSlam. I don't want them ever to pair up.
Yeah, no,
Personally,
I think the
yeah,
only
like
reason though that we're even worried about that is just because like the WWE makes bad decisions all the time, and we're worried that they'll do it again because like
yeah,
that decision makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Oba is amazing on the mic. He's genuinely one of the top 2 or 3 talkers in the entire company right now already. And pairing him up with Heyman would make absolutely no sense unless the goal was literally just we need to turn this guy heel, and the only way to get heat on him is to have him stop talking and give Heyman the mic. Which, if they wanted to turn him heel, that might be a good way to do it, but I don't know why the hell they would want to turn him heel at this point either.
yeah. Yeah, dude, there is no. I mean, this dude. I was even looking out in the crowd during this segment, and you could still see a lot of people doing the Obafemi strut.
Yeah.
Like, he's over like fucking hotcakes, and really, he's never gonna. Well, okay, let me slow down just a little bit, because I know sometimes I say things declaratively that age like milk. I believe, which is a different thing because that's subjective. I believe he's not. He's never going to lose his coolness. He's never going to be uncool. Because again, I just think he has natural aura. Now, do I think Oba could be a heel? Maybe, and I only say maybe because yes, he could be douchier, he could be more of an obstacle to baby faces, but because he's so cool and he's got that aura, he's always gonna have people cheering for him. I think it's actually the reverse of like the top guy problem, where when you're a top guy for so long, you'll always have a pocket of people booing you. I think this dude's always gonna have a pocket of people cheering for him, like always. Like I think that we've
A
got
pocket of people that we reside in.
absolutely. I think you're always going to have a segment of Oba feminists in the crowd. And it's fucking beautiful. And again, I really, for as much as I don't really care for Paul Heyman as a person, when he's on the clock, I mean, he does his stuff well. I loved his facial expressions and his body language when Oba's calling out Brock Lesnar, because in my mind, my opinion, that's Heyman saying, shit, he's right. He's right. Heyman knows Oba's right, and that's the brilliant part of this story. I think all the years that Heyman has talked up Brock Lesnar, he believed it because he would look at other people and they're like, "You're not my beast." He knows Oba's different. Hell, even the last time a guy got built up that much as a true threat to Brock Lesnar, I feel like was Drew McIntyre. He beat him in 5 minutes at Mania, although granted it was COVID Mania. But yeah, I mean, Oba's just on another level. I'm really happy for this dude. Hope he wins Hell in a Cell. I'm assuming he will, but we'll see what happens. And did you have anything you wanted to say about Seth and Roman? Because I did not watch this segment at all.
I thought it was a good segment. I found it kind of funny that Roman got upset basically that Seth was just refusing to engage, and Seth literally just like showed up and signed the contract and was ready to leave, and Roman was like, "Well, clearly we can't have this. I gotta get under his nerve, get under his skin a little bit." And he started bringing up the injuries, and he was like, "Let's say you do beat me at SummerSlam, then what? You gonna hold the title for a couple months and get hurt again? Have to leave?" Like he did the whole thing, and it was funny and it worked, and their brawl was cool, and I am very much looking forward to that match at SummerSlam. I'm not looking forward to much at SummerSlam, admittedly, but that is a match that should be fun for sure.
I think Penta Gable, Seth Roman, and Liv Io, and now I'm especially rooting for Io, given more and more that we learn about Liv outside the ring, but it
Yeah.
should still be a really solid match.
Yeah.
I think those are the three things really selling SummerSlam for me. I'm sorry, you guys know I really don't care for Cody and Punk in the ring. I'm totally skipping that main event.
Same.
But yeah, and even Gunther Nick Aldis, I have a morbid curiosity about. I'm not
Same.
gonna lie. So yeah,
Honestly, the
let's
SmackDown
yeah.
Women's Championship ladder match I might skip too. Just
I
because,
mean,
like, look
yeah,
who's in it, and I hate ladder matches in general.
true. I'm still wondering who the final two people are gonna be because we know, well, we know
If
definitively
listen,
two, and then the
if
third,
Blake
yeah.
Monroe is in the match, I'm watching, but the odds of that I would say are very, very low.
Well, listen, if she is in it, obviously we're gonna root for her for our whole being. Why? Because glamour is
Is
forever.
forever.
God, I love that theme song. All right, uh,
I hope she
let's
still has it at this point. Christ, she hasn't made an entrance in months.
dude, I hope she has it too because I'm gonna be honest, theme changes make me sad anymore. I still don't like Gable's new theme. That's like my least favorite part about him personally. I
Right.
actually liked when he went back to the American Alpha theme. I pop for that, honestly. I love that theme.
They played that shit
Um,
so loud in the arena too. They were so proud of it, and they changed it the literal next week. Christ.
I know, I know.
Ugh.
Um, I didn't really tune into NXT. I'm only really aware of two things, and it's on the women's side because the women are still like what compel me with most of wrestling. So we know Zarya retained her North American title in a Fatal 4-Way match. She pinned Nikita Lyons to do it, which like
Yeah.
I don't care for Nikita, obviously, but I mean, she is the Evolve Women's Champion, so way to really just enforce that belt hierarchy there. And then the big thing, again, like I think the word is I'm ambivalent on Lola Vice. Don't hate her, don't love her. She just exists for me, right? I was really rooting for Kalani to win this triple threat, man. I was like Kalani versus Kendall for the women's world championship would be fucking fire. Even Callie Armstrong, I probably would have preferred before Lola. I think Lola was at the bottom of my list because we know Callie and Kendall have history on Evolve because I believe it was Kendall that ended Callie's Evolve Women's Championship reign.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all for continuity and running it back. So for me, it was Kalani 1, Callie 2, Lola 3, and of course Lola wins. So it's like Lola's getting a rematch, which in that sense does make sense. But I'm just hoping Kendall retains and we finally get Kalani in this title picture because, again, going back to that conversation that you said you and I were having about the product, and I do agree with you that sometimes our conversations off the air, I feel like sometimes have a better flow and are more substantive than even the stuff we do on here. We were saying that, like, we like Kalani. She's been really solid as a heel, but they just refuse to even get her in the orbit of the world title, much less put the world title on her. And meanwhile, she was the very first women's North American champion when we thought that she was way too green and too much of like just that basic baby face to really hold a title. So everything's upside down, man, is what it comes down to. But
Bro, the
I,
weird thing
I
too
yeah,
is like you say that Lola just kind of exists to you. And like I
yeah,
understand that to a degree, but I think that the reason that I want to just even a little tiny bit push back on that is because like if someone is just kind of there for you and they're getting opportunities over women that you actively like, that pisses me off. Like that doesn't necessarily make me dislike the performer, but it does make me resent the performer because they're getting pushed over people that I think deserve it more. Like if I am like Lola is solid, she's okay, she's not anything special, which I think you and I have almost the exact same evaluation of her. And they
yes.
keep on giving her opportunities, and then in the meantime, you've got Kalani sitting in the wings, you've got Callie right there, you've got Jada who still has not won jack dick at this point, not doing anything, not winning anything, not getting opportunities. It's frustrating. It's annoying. And it makes me, obviously, I'm not going to dislike Lola Vice for just accepting opportunities given to her, but the creative makes me resent the character.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Dude, it's painful when you mention Jada because I don't even know if we'd call it a downfall, but just her at a standstill needs to be studied. Like, and I can't even say at this point, like, come to the main roster for a reset. Like, if I was in creative, which fortunately or unfortunately I'm not, take your pick. I would again because I've likened her to Stone Cold in the past. I would have her before I'd even have her lay hands on everybody. Like I don't know, watch somebody and then just start antagonizing them via promos. Like really, just talk. I would give her a microphone, just talk. Like work, shoot. Like we'll cut
I
you off if
think,
we feel like you're going too far, but give your honest opinion on shit because her talking is her greatest asset. But you were gonna say something, so I don't want to keep
yeah,
talking while you have a thought.
I was
What
going
were
to
we gonna
just
say?
say, low key, I think that almost a shame that she is already so well known as an NXT figure. And part of the shame that the developmental system is so public and so known and so like openly acknowledged, is that like 20 years ago, you could have had Jada Parker sitting in the crowd in the front row and get antagonized and fight back and hop the fucking railing, and it would have been a really fucking cool way to have her debut and have her talk shit then. Like that would have been dope as hell. But you can't do that anymore because as soon as someone from NXT is in the front row, they fucking pan the camera to her and they're like, "Oh, hey, here's Jada Parker from NXT. Everyone, look at her. We know who she is." And it makes the mystique and the aura zero, basically. It's like, we all know who they are, so there's nothing interesting or mysterious about them. That's like, I think that a cool way to debut Jada would be that, like to have her like sitting in the front row of a show, and then you have like someone that maybe has NXT history with her go out to the outside of the ring during a match when they're winning a match, go out and talk shit and get assaulted by her, basically. And I think that would be a cool as fuck way
Yeah.
to debut someone in NXT. And I think Jada fits that sort of vibe of like someone that doesn't take shit, someone that will fight back, someone that will push back against someone who's talking shit against her. And that is like a really cool way to debut someone with those vibes. And they just can't do that anymore because developmental is just out there for everyone to see. There are hundreds of thousands of people watching it every single week.
I mean, to me, we just got to get her back to that fucking 90s Stone Cold vibe. Like, there is a coolness factor to her
And
and a
especially because
badass factor to her.
GTA 5 is literally, or 6, GTA 6 is like, what, 3 months away at this point? How is she not on the main roster doing shit, taking advantage of the like popularity of those vibes when her theme song gives GTA vibes? She's able to like channel the energy of those fucking games, and you're not doing anything with it at all. It's kind of similar to when they were like, "Oh yeah, Santana Garrett Wonder Woman gimmick," during a time that Wonder Woman movies are doing really well in theaters. Pass, fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, hard agree. I do still miss her old theme, but I've kind of adapted to the theme that she's had since. And I mean, man, like when I say like being a badass in those Stone Cold vibes, the segment that I keep thinking about that I wanted to bring up is when Lola wanted to do NXT Underground and she cost Jada a match, and Jada comes out immediately after and she's like, "Oh, NXT Underground, yeah, baby," and like she's like saying like, "Come out here," and that's when she dropped the N word on the one referee. She's like, "I know you heard me," and all that stuff, and the crowd was eating it up. Like, I need, this would sound so horrible out of context. Maybe it sounds horrible even in context, but I need Jada to be angry again. I need Jada to have that chip on her shoulder again. I need her to be like, "It's me versus the world, and I'm fucking winning." This isn't it. Like, what are we doing having her lose to Natalia? This isn't even me trying to go in on Natalia, Like, she's a solid hand, I guess, for the company. She's been around forever. I'm done complaining about her, honestly. They've chosen her, it's whatever. But, like, she hasn't even won the Women's North American Championship. What are we doing? Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just wild to me. But yeah, so we have Lola getting her title shot again. Zarya's title reign is going well. I already mentioned that she retained. I'm liking how dominant they're making her. And really that just makes me happy because the last woman standing match with Sol Ruka didn't go to waste. So I did not watch this like pre-tape promo, but I just want to get if you have like any in-depth thoughts because I know I don't. We know Nikki Blackheart is in NXT now. She's known as Reina Vulcan.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that? Do you feel like she's like a worthwhile prospect? Do you see her being an NXT Women's World Champion? Like, is there anything you could really say about her from your vantage point?
She seems cool. I don't know that much about her, but I do like the
Yeah,
look,
same.
and I know that she has a good pedigree. She trained with Bailey, so there's I've got hope that she's going to be good at wrestling and entertaining, but I don't know anything about her other than that.
I will say her taking out Tatum with a fucking torture rack. That's old school as fuck.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what kind of offense she brings. Yeah, really nothing beyond that for me. And then, did I watch any AEW this week? No, I don't think I did. Do you have anything from AEW you want to report? Because I've been wanting to like maybe look into them again,
Oh
but then
God. Oh.
I think you do have something to share. What do we got?
Well, you know what the main event of the Wembley show is going to be this year, right?
Yeah, Omega versus Osprey for the world title.
They promoed this week.
Oh, that's when Osprey made like a DBZ reference or something.
Yeah.
And
He
uh,
literally said this is the first time that it's going to be like a real life Goku versus Vegeta.
Ugh. See, it's bad enough. And now again, we have to make, I want people to understand. I can't even speak with what I'm about to say here. Um, Obviously we're just two guys with two very distinctive tastes in pro wrestling. We have talked at length to death about what dominates pro wrestling today, the culture, like all that stuff. So, even putting that aside, even if you love the shit that Osprey does in the ring, which I'll admit some of the stuff he does is really cool looking. I even like the hidden blade on occasion. I'm like, man, that shit's devastating. The dude can't talk. I'm sorry. He can't talk. Like, I have never heard a good Osprey promo. And if anybody wants to correct me and say, oh, I thought this promo was pretty good, please have at it. This is a democracy. I'm
And
not
it's
trying to impose
gotten
my opinion on anybody.
so much worse this decade specifically because now he's doing the fake deep tough guy voice on top of it all.
Yeah. Oh, God.
He used to talk like
Look,
a normal British guy, and now he is going so far out of his way to sound gruff and tough, and it is so fake, and it is so garbage. I hate it so much.
dude, like, I feel like Osprey and I'm not trying to overly pathologize here, but it just comes off like he so badly wants to be seen as like not just a world champion, because we've always made a distinction with this, but like as a top guy, right? And I mean, hell, I don't know how much merch he sells. I don't know what he does on ratings. I don't know any of that. So maybe he is, for all intents and purposes. I could be open to that.
He'll
Doesn't mean I
never
have to like it.
admit it. He'll never admit it because it would mean conceding ground to the bad guys in his mind, and Osprey
Yeah.
thinks like a fucking teenager. But
Yes.
he
Yes.
so desperately wants to be what Roman Reigns is.
Yeah. Uh huh. Mm-hmm.
That like in his mind, that is like, and again, he'd never admit it. He'd never say these exact words or anything even remotely close to them. But he, in his mind, wants people to see him the way WWE fans see Roman Reigns. That's like his end game goal. Is like he wants to be viewed as like that dude with maximum aura that just standing in a fucking ring in the middle of an arena can make a crowd rise to their feet and scream the way that Roman does. And I hate to break it to you, Billy, but it's never fucking happening, pal.
The way you put that, I can't even touch that. That was perfect. But no, like in my ideal world, because I do want to give AEW a chance again, because there are certain things happening where I'm like, you know what? Maybe at the very least, I could vibe with this. I'd have Kenny retain and then have Kenny drop it to Andrade. Now, is that going to happen? No way in hell. But Andrade is building momentum, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, Andrade just feels more like that organic babyface. Like he's even starting to connect with the crowd with the whole how you know stuff, which granted, again, if I'm being honest, not really my thing, but it's also endearing that like I've always worried about Andrade's ability to speak English and like that barrier for him making a crowd connection beyond his in-ring ability, and yet he's found a catchphrase. And I love that for him, whether I personally vibe with it or not. I prefer an Andrade to an Osprey 100 times out of 100. Osprey's just never been my cup of tea. For those who love Osprey, I'm thrilled for you because I feel like Osprey versus Omega is like the ultimate work rate spot vest kind of dream match. Like once you do this, honestly, once you do this match, that whole style should be in decline because to me it's peaked. Like you're never gonna do more than these two guys, in my opinion, at least with their name brand alone. But I'm hoping Omega retains. The unfortunate thing is I think he's going to lose. I think this is going to be a passing of the torch moment from Omega to Osprey. That's my early prediction right now. And then the question is, who the hell beats Osprey for the AEW World Title? Like, I don't know. And can I actually say something to that effect too? When is Okada gonna get a main event push? Because he's been doing this whole thing, I feel like, with the international title and stuff for like so long, and I'm like, it's fucking Okada. When are we gonna get him vying for the AEW World Title? Because I'll tell you that's a match right there. If I think Osprey's gonna win, you do Osprey versus Okada at the next big show, and preferably have Okada win. But again, I'm not putting the cart before the horse. So I don't know. There are things I'm kind of liking about AEW, mainly that they're finally pushing Andrade big time. But we got to get through this world title scene with Osprey, and I just feel like it's going to be rough. So
What are
I
your
guess those are just all
thoughts
my thoughts.
on if Omega just retains?
If Omega just retains, I mean that's great. I mean I have no problem with Kenny. I don't like him nearly as much as like the New Japan Bullet Club era. I think that was the peak of my Kenny Omega fandom, but Kenny's still solid, and I saw the highlights of his match with Max, and I kind of rolled my eyes at some of the things I saw. Like they did the kick out at one thing, and I'm like, but no, Kenny, Kenny, I'll absolutely take it. It's just a matter of who would I want him to put over. And if it would be another babyface, I mean, obviously I just said Andrade, and if it was a heel, but then again, Okada might be turning face. I don't know, but I feel like Okada's still a heel right now. I'd love if
Yeah,
you
he
ran back
is.
Okada Omega and had Okada win there because it's fucking Okada. Like I'm just like, well, how the hell have we not done this? Um, so yeah, I mean, well, let me ask you. You asked me the question of how what I feel like Omega just retains. Do you feel like Omega's gonna retain? Like, what are your thoughts on this whole
Well,
match
the thing
beyond the
is,
cringe DDT
Omega
women's?
won the title pretty recently, so I would absolutely like if you asked me to place a bet on this match, I would bet on Omega retaining.
Normally I do think that would be the case. I don't know, man. I feel like Osprey's on the come up. I feel like they finally want to pull the trigger on him. I personally was surprised that Omega won the title. I mean, I think I said in the Discord, and I'll own it here. I was wrong because I thought MJF was gonna be Kenny, but apparently it came out MJF's been dealing with some injuries. I also don't know if he's filming more stuff. Um, but yeah, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But it's just the world title's in a very interesting place right now because I always think like who comes after. We know Hangman can't challenge, and Hangman, I'm actually looking forward to his journey because as a character, he said like I've never won the TNT championship, I've never won the international championship. Like like there's stuff to do. And I like that Hangman is open to finding out. You've also got Willow, who seems to be on the come up. I'm low key rooting for Willow to win the women's world title, but it seems like it's Tekla time all the time. So we'll have to see how that goes. I don't know. AEW is in that position where I really feel like if they make the right moves, they could really like start to be great. Of course, in one man's opinion, but I think they're very comfortable where they are with a lot of things, and so I don't know. I don't know. Any other thoughts on AEW? Because I think that's just it for me on the wrestling side of things.
Oh, you know what? Something that we should talk about because
Yes.
we were not planning on reacting to this match regardless, so it's not necessarily something that's going to spoil anything. The Triangle of Madness defeated God's Eye and are now the Artist of Champions in Stardom.
Oh, no fucking way. They won?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Oh, that's sad, man. Like, I want you to give your full opinion. I just need to say very quickly, I'm sad because I loved all three of those women in God's Eye, especially that it was Lady C's first title and it's over like that. Any thoughts you want to share?
I literally said in the Stardom Spoilers channel this morning before bed when Curtis posted the result that it makes me resent Tony Khan and AEW even more now because this artist reign with Hina and Lady C and Ami was like one of the few things in pro wrestling that I've actually liked over the course of the last couple months.
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
we do this fucking techless shit and that takes it away now. And so it's like my enjoyment of pro wrestling has gotten so low basically since COVID. So that we're at a point now that when I actually am able to find something in pro wrestling that I'm actually into that I can actually get behind and enjoy, I cherish it. And now it's
Yes.
gone. And so like I am like full on like fuck everyone involved in this decision, fuck everything about it mode. I am very, very annoyed, very pissed about it. And I just don't know what even happens from here. I like it's fucking a dude. If AEW rated New Japan the way that they did, I'm worried that this is just the beginning of what they're going to do to Stardom. We already lost Mina. You know, we already don't have Hazuki in the 5-star this year. We've already not had several other women in 5 stars in previous years because of them being on excursions to America to do what we thought was going to be AEW shows. It turned out to be Ring of Honor shows because fuck Tony Khan. Um, I'm just worried that we're going to start losing more and more Stardom talent to the AEW Women's Division mid card because it's this, big Western dream of, hey, I want to go be a star in America. And, I'm part of me has to wonder if Mina regrets already, even by now, regrets leaving Stardom to go to New Japan or to go to AEW. Given how little they've done with her, I mean, they started out using her a lot because she was involved in the Mariah Tony story, and ever since that ended and Mariah left for WWE, Mina hasn't had much to do. I know she's in a tag team with Harley Cameron. I want to say I don't even know that for sure. But like, yeah, no, she's like she feels completely off the radar, and at least when she was in Stardom, she got things to do consistently, and that's not a thing anymore. And yeah, Super Blue Team Tekla, aka the Triangle of Madness, aka the team of Tekla, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue, beat God's Eye, aka the team of Ami Sourei, Hina, and Lady C, for the Artist of Stardom Championships, which are the trios titles. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes.
Yeah, and actually, brother, I don't want to resume speaking. Did you have anything else you wanted to say? I didn't want to
No, you can go.
step on your toes. It deflates me, brother, because like I've been taking up for Stardom more lately. Like I've been saying, oh, I feel like they're on the come up again. I'm loving the energy, and
You know what though, dude? How much of that
yeah, please.
momentum has derived from this exact artist team that's been putting on such great matches?
Well, dude, I was even getting ready to say, and I'm glad you interjected with that. On our most recent Stardom Live reaction, you and I both assented to the idea that the artist felt like they haven't been this interesting in so long.
Yeah.
And that there was like an energy. Didn't I think now I'm paraphrasing myself here, I think, but I remember me on our most recent live reactions saying like that the artist of Stardom Championship matches were starting to feel like LU trios matches, and I meant that as the highest compliment.
Yeah, you did.
And like this team of Hina, Lady C, and Ami Sourei, I really, really like them. Obviously, you did too, because you had that whole sidebar about like your love of pro wrestling is so low, and you really cherish this, and now it's gone. So we know how you feel. I really love these ladies together, and again, like
they literally had 2 successful defenses, and they were both match of the year candidates for me.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And now like, they already lost the titles.
For me, I had this whole post in the Discord recently. Now, I was talking about Liv and some unsavory stuff coming out about her, which we don't need to get into. I don't want to take us too far afield. But where I pretty much made the point of, like, I have always been a mark in the sense of, like, I don't buy into the parasocial shit. I've never known John Morrison. I've never known anybody that I really gush or glaze over. But I root for them so fucking hard. Not just in kayfabe to win the titles and get the pay-per-views and this and that, but in life to get that financial security, to be happy in their spot, whatever. So as that kind of mark, I can't fucking tell you how happy I was for Lady C. How often have we seen this woman lose and eat shit and do the job? And then Nanae had to give her a fucking passion injection match, which was ridiculous. And then Lady C cut, in my mind, an underrated promo where she cried talking about how much she loves pro wrestling and she wants to be good at it. And she finally gets in a faction. I love Queen's Quest. God knows. You guys can go back and listen to my thoughts on Queen's Quest. I love Queen's Quest. Lady C fit in so well with God's Eye. I felt like she was really starting to flourish. And then she wins a title. She's really putting it all together. And you're going to, like, just give up all that. Not to mention, I really thought it was going to be a launching pad for Ami Sourei back to the Wonder title, personally. And it was also a great thing for Hina to do after losing the Future title. And you're going to give it to an AEW team. Whether you even think this team is mid or not, why does AEW need this? It is a Stardom Championship. I've never been a fan of this. It's the same way when NXT can win the TNA World title or like, the knockouts. Like, why? Why? I don't see the point of it, because I feel like it's just laying the groundwork, again, as you alluded to in your thoughts on this, to just raid the roster, and I don't want that. And I'll tell you something, man. If they raid the Stardom roster, I really have to wonder if we just kind of pack up shop here, because I know a lot of these segments. Now, we've had a really good pro wrestling segment this week, I think, because we've had substantive conversations. But how many segments is it? Especially of me being like, man, I don't care. Cody sucks. Whatever. Like, there's not much to grab onto. Stardom was kind of showing life again, and this does concern me. I don't like that this happened. The moment you revealed that, because I really thought that they were just going to retain. So to be honest, I wasn't sweating it too much. The idea that Triangle of Madness actually won, that's deflating as fuck, bro. So yeah, sorry to Ami, Lady C, and Hina. You three deserve better than that. What a beautiful fucking team with two amazing defenses. In fact, I know Javaris is in the chat. Javaris, did you go back and did you watch that fucking Cosmic Angels defense with Aya Sakura in the match? Because that was insane. And you're putting on matches of that quality, and already now we've gotten a downgrade. That the more I dwell on it, the more it pisses me off. So I'm gonna stop dwelling on it. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No.
All right. Let's try and make politics quick and painless this week. I know that's hilarious coming from me, but the emphasis on the word try. Ashton, I'll hand it over to you first. Any election news, data, anything you need to talk about?
No, I mean, I think the biggest sort of quasi-election news coming out of this week is the wait. Actually, you know what? Did we talk about Lindsey Graham's death last week? I don't think we did.
I don't think we did, because I think that happened after the show. So yeah,
Yeah.
Lindsey Graham's dead.
Yeah, Lindsey. Well, so the two actually, it's the Lindsey Graham death, which is official and public, and the Mitch McConnell death, which is not official or public. But we literally just had an article come out that Andy Bashir, the governor of the state Mitch McConnell is the senator of, basically said that like he just got off the phone with people that have confirmed that McConnell's dead.
Yeah.
So, I like, what are we fucking doing here? We need to hold a special election to replace that Senate seat. Kentucky is only being represented by one person in the Senate now. And now, don't get me wrong, I'm not exactly the type of person to get excited about Kentucky politics, but people need to be represented in the government. That's the whole fucking point. It's a representative republic. So when an entire state worth of people are only being half represented in the most powerful chamber of Congress in the country, it's an injustice. And you literally have a Democrat governor who can do something about it to make sure that a special election happens. And rather than, if the Republicans have it their way, they would hold off until August 4th and then be like, sorry, everyone, he's been dead for a month now. But now we can't do a special election. It just has to be a regular old normal one. And oh, Thomas Massey, it's so sad that you can't run as an independent. Man, golly gee, so sorry, buddy.
Yeah, that kind of gets ahead of a question that Super Blue asked in the Q&A channel about, are they going to announce Mitch McConnell's death next week? Super Blue, I say this all the love in the world because you didn't ask a bad question. We live in an age of like just manipulation, deception, and everything else. If they can hide and cover up that death, whether through AI, burying reports, whatever, they're going to, because power is the only thing that matters. They're not announcing shit. They're going to try and hold this off until, like Ashton said, they can't do special elections because they fear Thomas Massey would win because he has the base for it, which is crazy because
even if Massey wouldn't win, the fact that he would run as an independent would mean that they would also put forward a Republican candidate. And then even if Massey wouldn't win outright, he would split the vote, which could lead to a Democrat senator from Kentucky, which would fuck them over even harder.
Yes. So
like
no,
Massey, in
yeah.
that situation, Massey winning would be a positive outcome for the Republicans because he is still a fucking Republican. Like, he has two good opinions. He's anti-Israel and anti-pedophile, which is insane to me that that's not the norm in the Republican Party these days. But clearly it's not. They fucking love the president who is an active pedophile. And there's heaps of evidence to support that claim. So I'm not committing any kind of, fraud or perjury or whatever the fuck the word
No
is there.
defamation here.
Thank you.
No
Yeah,
defamation here.
exactly. Yeah, he's also a literal convicted rapist, and the entire party supports him. Massey is literally the only one that doesn't. But him not being willing to support such horrific acts doesn't make him a good guy. He's still a Republican. He's still anti-abortion. He's still anti-gay. He still wants a Christo-fascist nation. He's still bad in most ways. He's just not bad in those two specific ways that are important, don't get me wrong. But like him being in the Senate is still a loss for normal people.
Like, I don't think people talk about enough, and that's why I appreciate spaces like this. And I first heard this admittedly from Kyle Kalinske, so I will cite my sources. He says that Thomas Massey's voting record, he voted with Trump 90% of the time.
95, I thought. 95%.
Either 90 to 95, but here's the crazy thing. Again, just to expound upon your point and to emphasize your point, when the 5% is, I don't fucks with pedophiles and I don't think we should give money to Israel, and that's disqualifying. Jesus, tap dancing Christ.
Yeah.
Like, throw the whole goddamn thing away, man.
Exactly.
But yeah, let's stay on track here. So yes, Lindsey Graham did pass away from a sudden illness. I'll be the first one to admit,
and
I've seen
we live in a fucking monarchical fascist state, his sister replaced him in the Senate.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, when it comes to far right politics, we tell people all the time, every and really not even just far right politics, when it just comes to what the U.S. empire tells you, every accusation is a confession. Mm-hmm. How often do we hear about, like, oh, North Korea and hereditary lines and this and that, and then you do this shit with Lindsey Graham? Like, I need empire, specifically the media apparatus, to just shut the fuck up forever, because everything you say to me is pissing me off.
Yeah. Speaking of the media, by the way, Trump got to go live on Thursday night, spread a bunch of misinformation, and beg people to call their representatives to try and convince them to pass the SAVE Act, because that's literally the only way that he isn't losing power in November.
And something I want to talk about that's been of concern to me, because obviously Trump wants that SAVE Act bad. He's a dementia-addled piece of shit. And like you said, a convicted rapist and proven pedophile based on the Epstein files. Nobody gives a fuck about him. Well, I mean, obviously I don't mean it like that, but you get what I mean. But the bigger thing to me is Mike Johnson, Stephen Miller, Marco Rubio. We have been seeing a lot this week, like, anti-communist rhetoric and them talking about we have leftist terrorism rising domestically. Here's the crazy thing, everyone, okay? Because I cited these people like 2 weeks ago just to really prove a point. The Cato Institute, which is a right-wing think tank, a conservative think tank, right? They have done studies that have shown immigrants commit a lower rate of crimes than native-born citizens. They have shown that Gen Z has a more favorable opinion of socialism than capitalism, and they have the most favorable opinion of communism relative to other generations. And they have also proven, relative to what I just said, or relevant to what I just said, that it is actually right-wing terrorism that has been on the rise. Because have we already forgotten that it was a right-wing fucking terrorist that killed a sitting senator? Have we forgotten about the right-wing terrorists that have, like, set homes on fire of dissenting politicians on the Democratic side? Like, again, every accusation of January 6th, right? Charlottesville a few years before that. Right-wing terrorism has been ascendant for fucking years. And yet, again, Rubio, Miller, and Johnson are like, oh, we need more funding to, fight communism domestically. We have communism on our shores. And like, the only reason, and I just want to be emphatically clear because I don't give a fuck anymore. I am a fucking communist. I'm not about to bury my beliefs now. First of all, my digital footprint's too fucking large. You're damn right I'm a fucking communist. You're damn right I don't think you people should be hoarding all the capital and the wealth and starving and killing people at fucking will. You can chortle my fucking balls. But the only thing, because I'll admit, when I see this rhetoric, it does scare me. I'm human. They have all the power. I'm just one guy. We know that they'll fucking do drone strikes and whatever on American citizens if they really feel like it's that problematic. And believe me, they fucking will. But it also makes me smile because you wouldn't be talking about these people, communists, this much if you didn't sense the ground shifting beneath your feet. Mm-hmm. They know they're losing people, and here's the fucking thing. That Gen Z number of communism right now, it stands at 38%. Socialism, I think, was like in the high 40s, maybe even a little over 50. What do you think that communism number is going to do as material conditions get worse? It's going to get higher and higher
Mm-hmm.
because what people aren't talking about enough, and I need everybody to understand me on this because I know, I've had friends that are concerned for me say, John, you're so angry all the time. I'm worried about what politics is doing to you. Newsflash, I'm worried about what politics is doing to me too because I never signed up for this fucking shit. I didn't want to live in a fascist shithole. I didn't want to wake up in a world where brown children can't look up at the fucking sky because is a drone going to kill me? A drone took my dad. I have to watch videos of children crying, wanting to be buried next to their brother or wanting to avenge their father. I didn't sign up for this. No sane, empathic person did, which thankfully our audience is full of. I fucking, just to practice love for a second, I fucking love you people. Each and every one of you. I fucking love you. That is why I'm so angry. My anger is justified. And another thing, the people in power, you don't think they're angry? When they stoke racial resentment, when they stigmatize migrants, when they stigmatize trans people, you don't think that's anger? You don't think that's poisonous? It's fucking insidious. Okay? I like so much is at fucking stake here. And after the midterms, that big bullshit bill, more austerity is going to happen. More SNAP cuts, Medicaid work requirements, if not outright cuts to Medicaid. Things are going to get even worse. And I'll tell you, I hate it. I hate it. But I haven't given up hope. You know why? Because just today I saw an article, protesters left body bags outside of OpenAI's headquarters. You don't think that's a message? There was a shooting in an ICE facility in Phoenix, Arizona, inside the building. Here's the thing, whether you believe in communism or not, whatever your political beliefs are, I'm going to be honest, I really at this moment couldn't give two shits because the fundamental fact is there is still self-preservation. You may not have a label to your beliefs, but I know everybody needs to eat, have housing, and just be secure in their person. And the more privation that happens on those fronts, the more radicalized people are going to be. The rich are pushing their fucking luck. And I want to give a shout out to one of my favorite Instagram creators, Morgan Kennedy, because he did a great reel. Because the whole plan is for the rich to insulate themselves in their bunkers with their money and their robot dogs. But as he points out, who built the bunkers? Who built the robot dogs? I need you guys to never forget, no matter how cynical, no matter how disillusioned you get, and believe me, I've been there. I've been through the eye of the needle, my friends. I know it fucking sucks. Never forget, they will never stop needing us. These people without us could not wipe their own fucking ass. And I agree with Morgan when he says he could see engineers leaking the blueprints to those dogs to know how to beat them. They'll leak plans to the bunkers to know where the weak points are, where the weak joints are. They're not fucking safe without us. And that's the vicious circle. They need us, but they abuse us. And that's why even when DSA, which you guys know, I like DSA enough, but you know my belief, always keep politicians at a distance. If we're saying don't do parasocial stuff with celebrities, you sure as shit do not do it with politicians. Mamdani's doing good stuff. That's different from Mamdani being your friend. Always know the fucking difference. But he's doing materially good stuff, right? That's undeniable. We even have a story, I think Gala posted this, so shout out to Gala, where he's putting out vending machines for things from like contraceptives to what's that drug called? Naloxone, which is a life-saving drug that prevents overdosing on opiates. So thank you for breaking that down, brother, because I'm reading your messages verbatim. That's good shit. He's pretty much doing harm reduction centers in a vending machine, which I've believed in for years. And why the right is worried is because DSA isn't even radical enough. But when you give people a taste of an alternative future, what do you think that's going to do to their brain, huh? It's going to make new synaptic pathways where they say, just like they were starting to say in the wake of COVID, all these things that I thought was necessary are really just bullshit. We never had to live like this. And then they're going to want more and more and more. And the rich people can't fucking have that because they need to be able to control everything. That's why everything is becoming a subscription-based society, because if you can't own anything, you don't have the power to say no. And that's where they want to put all of us. They don't want you to have the power to say no. And I'm telling you, I still have hope. I'm never giving up hope until I am put in the ground. And I need to be emphatic about this because I know a lot of people can read one emotion from me and think, oh, John's a doomer. Oh, John, has been like whatever. Yes, I have my bad days like everybody fucking else. But I believe in working class people. I believe in Ashton and Superblue and Javaris and Alex and all of you. Even myself. And I hate myself more than anybody, but I even believe in myself against these fucking people because they don't know shit about fuck. and they're running out of time. They're running out of time. And however the midterms go, you know what the midterms really are? They're a referendum on fucking capitalism, because shit's going to get worse even after the midterms, because they're hoping that everybody's stupid enough to think, oh, we just got the Democrats in office and now things are worse, therefore I got to vote for Republicans again. Me personally, maybe I have too much faith. I don't think that's going to work this time. There is so much stench on the Trump regime. They're not going to be fucking able to wash it off just with one midterm election. And I think the tide's turning. And hell, if nothing else, the climate is turning that tide, because we need to talk about, too, the Canadian wildfires, which have affected air quality here. But I do just want to emphasize, Canadians' entire livelihoods are being destroyed. A whole indigenous tribe had to be removed because the fire destroyed their lands. This is climate catastrophe. This shit is fucking happening, right? And Trump said he was going to put tariffs on Canada for this, which I don't need to really say anything else. And shout out to my Canadian comrades, because they have to deal with a piece of shit prime minister in Carney, who all he posts about apparently is wanting to build new oil pipelines. These people are fucking homicidal and genocidal in the name of capital. It is capital or it is us, and I choose us. It is insane. Literally, I have seen pictures of the sky looking apocalyptic, and you've got a prime minister wanting to build more oil pipelines. My sister told me tonight that she was hearing about votes. I don't know if they're dealing with like New Hampshire or just Congress or whatever. They're wanting to do votes on potentially deep sea mining. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, like, are we just trying to accelerate the destruction of the biosphere? So yeah, climate continues to be scary. I worry about El Nino and how that's going to change weather patterns and agriculture and everything else. We are entering a new world. You know, there's no denying that. The question is, how much solidarity are we going to have with each other to build that world for ourselves? And how much are we going to continue to let these fucks divide us? Because, yeah, I'm telling you, those remarks from Rubio, Johnson, and Miller, they are scared as fuck of us. They are scared as fuck of people being radicalized to the left, because the Overton window has been right-wing for so long that now that we're living out the policies in real time. How many times have you and I joked just this week, brother, on our off time, that libertarians are eating good right now, so long as they don't eat the fucking lettuce? Because libertarianism is pretty much a deregulated state. Let capitalism run wild. Don't let the government interfere. And now Taylor Farms gets to get away with their lettuce pretty much causing explosive diarrhea. That's what cyclospora is. There have been cases in at least 31 states that we know of. Because again, we have to remember the FDA had cuts. Again, it's the libertarian wet dream, shrink the big state. But we say state without even really understanding what it does or what it is. Because now the FDA is less efficient, which allows these things to be recalled. In fact, I had a friend of mine who is in Canada, so shout out to her for dealing with these fucking awful wildfires, where a type of Pillsbury dough, I think it was like the pizza crust rolls or something, they got recalled because they were unsafe. It's like, you know, this is why it's important to have regulatory bodies like this. So yeah, we have cyclospora, we have explosive diarrhea going around, and the Democrats, or at least the establishment Dems, Cory Booker sent a letter. I would very much appreciate it if you answered these questions. That's it. That's all you're doing. Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is the world we live in under far right politics, and people are waking up to it, and they're scared. That's why Trump, which I don't even know if any networks aired that fucking speech, had to fucking slur through, oh, pass the SAVE Act, we need to protect election integrity, because they know they're going to lose. And they're going to lose so significantly. And if any changes don't happen beyond that, I'm telling you, the time for talking is over, because again, as I mentioned, there was a shooting in an ICE facility in Phoenix, and people are leaving body bags outside of OpenAI's headquarters. What do you think comes next? So I just think the tide's turning, brother. I really do. I think we're getting...
In my mind, the only way that we move the Overton window further left is by putting people who are further left in office and letting them just improve material conditions for people. That's the only way we do it.
Hard agree. So very quickly on international news, Iran war is obviously continuing. Strait of Hormuz is still closed, but the big update that we need to really talk about, Yemen is moving to close, and really the Houthis are moving to close the Bab al-Mandeb Strait, which that would be another strait closed where resources couldn't pass through. I again offer the possibility that we're heading towards a global energy crisis because reserves are depleting rapidly. Some of the reserves aren't even usable for, practical purposes. It's it's bad. And again, I just have to emphasize so that we never forget, this is Trump's fault. This is Netanyahu's fault. This is the fault of the Zionist colonial project and really just American empire, because we have to remember that Israel is a vassal state of the U.S. It serves the U.S.'s interests in the Middle East. Iran is the victim here. Whatever you think about the Islamic Republic government, I get it, but they're the victim here. There's just no other way about it. And now we could be dealing with a global energy crisis. I know, Ashton, before we went live, you even posted an image seemingly of oil prices climbing. Can you contextualize that for us a little bit? Do you have anything
Yeah,
like to
no,
offer
that's.
on
I
that?
mean, if you look at the actual picture, it's exactly what it says it is. Basically, ever since the beginning of March, oil prices have been climbing from around 70-ish dollars per barrel. In mid-March, they peaked at around $110 per barrel. They did come back down a little bit in mid-April to like, around maybe a little over 90, like 94, 93, somewhere around there, and then peaked again at the beginning of May at over $110 per barrel, and have been kind of on a steady decline since then until the very beginning of July. The very beginning of July, they bottomed back out at 71 or so, $71 and some change dollars per barrel. But they've been back on the rise now. They are back on the rise, and just in the last 8 days, they've gone up $12 per barrel. That is going to absolutely translate to an increase on the price of gas at the pump. It is also probably not over. The increase in prices are probably going to continue to go up. I don't know, excuse me, I don't know if they're going to keep going up to the point that they were in, March and May. I don't know if we're going to see $110 barrel prices again. But given that the Strait of Hormuz is closed, and given that we've been using these reserves, it wouldn't surprise me if it went past that. And even if it didn't this time, I think just the way that Trump is handling this Iran situation, it seems like it's just going to keep fluctuating up and down and up and down and up and down. And it's just a matter of whether the upward trends and downward trends cancel each other out, or if it trends more in one direction or the other. Because
Yeah.
prior to the escalation in Iran, the barrel prices were actually below 70. They were down in the
Yes.
60s. So, the fact that we sort of quote unquote bottomed out at 71 and change before going back up now again, even that 71 and change is higher than the prices were before the escalation in Iran happened. So gas prices are at a very nice low point right now, lower than they've been in quite a while, in several months, but they're not lower than they were before Trump escalated things in Iran. I remember they were actually right around the $3 mark, maybe even under $3, like 290 something. I think they were
Yes.
hovering around like somewhere between like 293 and 298 for me personally before Trump's escalation in Iran. And ever since then, they've been shooting up. And right now, they were at one point, they were up at like 450 at the max. That's the highest that I'd seen them. But now they're back down to like 350. So definitely a nice relief on the wallet for now, but also still not as low as they were before Trump decided to go fuck things up with Iran. And now they're back on the rise. And so that 350 that I'm experiencing right now, that little bit of solace, is not going to last very long at all. And so it's just a matter of time before it goes up. Plus, again, the price of the barrels themselves is just in the middle of an upward trajectory. It's not like I managed to catch it at its peak by any means. It's still going up. And as long as the strait remains closed, I imagine it's going to continue to go up. And Trump has this weird tendency to kind of, manipulate the market by escalating things at the beginning of the week and then de-escalating at the end of the week to try and make more and more money. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if things got worse on Monday or Tuesday, and then maybe on this coming Friday they'll cool off again, but we'll see.
And I just want to end it by saying that if Yemen does close that strait, the Red Sea Strait, or what they call the Red Sea Gateway, they have every right to do it. These nations have a right to defend themselves. Fuck U.S. empire. It's a shame that regular people like us have to suffer. But, that's how radicalization in the left happens. See, that's the difference between leftists and liberals. Liberals are idealist in the sense of like, we have to maintain civility and norms and everything else. That to us is all procedural bullshit. That doesn't matter. We look at material conditions. Can people afford to live? Or how many people are going hungry? How many people are fucking homeless? That's what we mean by materialism. And as material conditions continue to worsen, people are going to continue to be radicalized against far right politics and against the politics of this empire, which Trump is perfectly emblematic of. I think that's why so many liberals honestly like hate Trump. It's because it's not a friendly face on empire. And he really is just utterly buffoonish and boorish and everything else. He's perfectly emblematic of the American mindset of just exceptionalism. We take what we want, we do what we want, we kill who we want, and you can't stop us. I mean, our missiles, because it was proven by analysis, it was American military missiles, killed a fucking girls' school in Iran, killing over 160, children. Even Israel doesn't have those missiles. And we're still in this crisis. Iran has paid a heavy human price. We're all going to pay a price again on the global energy market, which is insane because where I feel bad, and I'm going to kind of transition to the next story, which thanks to Ashton, we do have a good story here, and I have a good story to end things. But even countries transitioning to renewables, you still need oil in the meantime. Like, oil is the energy the globe fucking uses, and that shit's running out and being choked off. I mean, it's not good, especially with this fucking regime at the helm. And Brazil. Ashton had posted a great story about Brazil that 85% of their grid is green. So it's renewable. They have made a wonderful conversion to
Lula.
renewable energy that's still going. Yeah, exactly. Because if it was the far right guy, I think Bolsonaro was his
Yeah,
name.
Bolsonaro. Yep.
Yeah, they would still be fucking deforesting and shit. Which I don't know. I kind of feel like you need a functioning biosphere to do anything, but what do I know? I guess I'm just a rad lib hippie or whatever. But yeah, good on Brazil. Good on Brazil. I hate that we're such slow adopters because we're still at the behest of oil and gas executives, which they've known about this shit and they've known about the climate collapse since like the 50s. And they were still like, but my bottom line though, fucking ghouls, every last one of them. The only other story I want to share, I want to shout out. I mean, I'm going to give away the game a little early too, because they're absolutely going to be my high spot. The Revolutionary Communist Party of Pakistan. They're actually winning in their struggle against the state. They've organized a general strike. They've resisted state power, and based on some stuff that I'm reading, it seems like they might actually fucking win, y'all. That is insane to me. So, big shout out to Pakistan. They put out like a whole leaflet of their goals and their aims, and they pretty much want to democratize resources and put them under the people's control. Apparently, this party, this action committee, has, according to them, and you never know when propaganda is just trying to fluff the numbers, they say they have 90% support, and I can only believe it because if it is an oppressive government, sooner or later you're going to lose fucking everybody. So I was very happy to hear that on the Pakistan side. Very cool. And I think it was the shot in the arm that I needed because things could be so depressing here, and especially for left-wing movements abroad, particularly in Latin America. But when you see communism, succeeding elsewhere, it does remind you that it's possible. It just, again, it takes collectivist effort, and Pakistan has organized that. They've shut the state down. It's been really cool to see those developments. So I think that's it for politics, and we can move on to pop culture, aka free talk. And yeah, we watched Growing Up Fisher, which was a one
Oh,
season
such a good
show
show.
with
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons, who is just really a fucking treasure, honestly.
And Jenna
That and
Elfman and um, Isabella Merced.
yes. Which man, to see her in a role that young, god damn. When
Yeah.
you first revealed that, it blew my fucking mind, bro.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that was
what the
pretty
fuck?
crazy. It's just such a weird connection because we're both such fans of her from her work on The Last of Us season 2. She was so good in that as Dina. And then we even really liked her as Hawk Girl in the DCU stuff that she's been in because I know she was in the Superman movie, but she was also in Peacemaker season 2 as well. She's great. And just to like it's like this relatively new discovery that we've just both had of this woman that we are fans of, and then all of a sudden we go back and we watch the show for J.K. Simmons, and all of a sudden here she shows up as this little like 13, 14-year-old girl, It's kind of like an early thing that she did. It's just really cool that things connect that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And seeing J.K. Simmons perform inspired me to rewatch some clips from Whiplash. I think one of these days I am just going to watch the full film. I'm probably going to do that on my birthday next year. Hoping you and your mom will be down to join me for that because I fucking love that movie, and obviously I'd prefer to watch it with people. But my God, are you a rusher? Are you a dragger? Are you going to be on my fucking time? I just J.K. Simmons, man, bottle that fucking man. Goddamn. Actually, I learned today that we now know what Damien Chazelle's next big project's going to be. It doesn't have a title yet, but it's going to be a prison escape film, or like what they're calling a prison drama, and it has Daniel Craig. Which outside of the Bond movies, I like Daniel Craig. Definitely like him in the like Glass Out, Knives Out, that whole series of movies. Cillian Murphy, Michelle.
Killian, by the way, Killian Murphy.
Killian Murphy, thank you. Michelle Williams and Mia Threepleton, who I honestly have no idea who she is, but I'll be excited to find out. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Damien Chazelle, he kind of has a mixed record with me. On one hand, he made my favorite movie of all time. Did not care for La La Land, and I didn't watch Babylon, admittedly, because I had Margot Robbie burnout at that point. I felt like she was way too overexposed for me. But this seems I'm intrigued by this. I'm excited when we get a release date for this, and I'll probably want to watch it. Um, Meanwhile, speaking of movies, I just have to say as a sidebar, dude, I have heard nothing but good things about the Odyssey now that it's come out. I feel like so many people shit on the trailer, but now that the movie's come out, everybody's like, this was amazing. And I'm like, well, I guess Nolan did it again, huh?
Yeah, and
Jesus
it's
Christ.
pacing to be $1 billion film too.
God damn. God damn. Like, again, not calling her out because I had my misgivings about it too, but I'll never forget when I posted the trailer initially, Gala posted a gif of a dog vomiting. And again, a lot of people, based on the costumes and stuff, seem to share that opinion. But I've had friends who have seen the movie that are like, go see this movie. This is the movie we needed right now as a country because it has like pro-migrant, like be kind to the stranger and the traveler message, and also, according to some people, even an anti-imperialist message, which I was surprised
Ooh,
by because that's different from being anti-war to me. That's like another level. It's like not only should you not do war, you shouldn't steal other people's fucking resources.
yeah.
So yeah,
I I'm
yeah.
looking right now, and they're tracking for a massive $257 million global opening weekend.
God damn.
Meanwhile, what did we just see? I think it was Moana live action that made I think like 40 million or maybe even less than that in its opening weekend. Like it crashed hard. It
It did, bro.
bombed,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, dude, it bombed so hard. And I have friends now. Now, for me, it's funny that I could also be wildly optimistic and a bit more tempered. I'm a bit more on the tempered side with this, but some of my friends are hoping that Nolan's success will kind of renew an interest in the classics, but on like the left wing side, because I noticed the classics have become more of a right wing talking point. And I agree. I would love more like actual, because there's no way Homer was a fucking like, even from what I know of those stories, yeah, it's obviously be kind to the stranger and this and that. And they're like, oh, these are the peak of Western civilization, which of course they mean whiteness because that's all it is with these fucking weirdos. So I hope my friends are right that this movie being so successful, it'll make people want to actually read the source material and just really connect on that level with the literature, not from this weird, creepy, again, like pro-white Western civilization dog shit, but again, the empathy, the humanity, just the wonder of like that art like this can exist. I may even, be inspired if I get any free time or the inclination to at least read some of it. But yeah, I don't even know if that movie was going to be on our list, but after seeing my friends' reviews, I'm totally down to watch The Odyssey with you now. I was kind of ambivalent about it before, but I'm like, I don't. Now I'm starting to get FOMO, I guess is what it is.
Yeah,
I'm like,
we'll have to
I don't
check
want. I
it
don't want
out
to
for
miss out on
sure.
this. Yeah,
Crazy thing
definitely.
is though,
Uh,
dude, I've seen that this was like intentionally made for IMAX, and if you don't watch it in IMAX, you're basically not getting like the true experience that was intended to be experienced.
Sounds very similar to Avatar in that way.
Yeah, but Avatar, I think
Yeah.
the intention was 3D, whereas with I guess it is similar. I guess I can see your point because with Avatar, it's like if you're not watching this in a theater in 3D, you're missing out. Whereas with this, it's specifically the IMAX thing where like if you're watching this on a proper wide screen in a theater, you're missing details that are above and below what is being shown on the screen. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Makes me
Um,
worried about us watching it at home, like pulling it up on our regular old TVs. We're not gonna be able to watch the IMAX version.
yeah, dude, I know. God, we're gonna look like a bunch of squares too. We're gonna be like, the movie was okay. Did you see it in IMAX? No. Fucking loser.
That's your problem.
God
That's like
damn it.
anytime you say you don't like a food, and they're like, "Well, that's just because you haven't had it done well."
Yeah, it's like, God damn it, man. Let me not like things. um, but, we started watching Mating Season, which I actually liked more than I thought I would. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I because I know Netflix will like autoplay some stuff, and I'm like, this seems okay. Like, if you're doing Big Mouth with animals, like, I don't really know. But man, the ending of that first episode, not to give too much away, because if you like Big Mouth, you will, I think, enjoy this. The ending of that first episode had me fucking dying. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm excited to get back to that. I think we got to like the first 3 episodes, I want to say.
No, we
Because
only
I
got
know
through
you.
the first two, man. I believe.
Oh, only the first two. Well, yeah, I knew it was only like 2 or 3 because I know you started to get tired and you're
Yeah.
like, I wanna go to bed, which I mean, mood. Um, but yeah, so we started that.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think we watched the third one.
we probably didn't. I think you're right that we only
Yeah,
did
no,
two.
no, because we watched the second one because that was the one with like the dating sites.
Yes, 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 and that was fun. Um, what movies did we watch this week? Because I'm so
Brother,
fixated on. Yeah.
we watched a fucking incredible movie and another really fun one. So we watched Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. That was the star.
Yes, that was so good.
And we also did watch The Wrecking Crew, which was also really fun. And people in our audience, especially, would be interested in that because we have a very pro wrestling heavy audience, and that has Batista in it.
Yes, and I admire Batista, man. Look, everybody's a better actor than Dwayne because at least Batista doesn't play himself in every fucking movie. Uh, so yeah, but good luck, have fun,
Dwayne
don't
said,
die.
Dwayne
Yeah,
said, this The Rock character is really popular. I bet you I could make it work in movies, and never looked back.
yeah, and he was right for maybe like 2 movies,
A
and then people were
decade?
like, yeah, and then people were like, all right, what else you got? Nothing.
Do you
So.
smell?
Yeah. Do you smell what was his character in the DCU called that he really
Black
wanted to sing? Do you smell what the Black Adam's cooking? No. Dude, I actually saw a YouTube channel. That's the title of the YouTube channel. I think it was like Unfortunate Videos or something, and one of their uploads was Dwayne talking about how the power structure in the DCEU was about to change. Oh my God.
What did we watch recently that made a reference to him saying that? I forget what it was.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
We watched something recently though where someone was like, "Yeah, I got Dwayne Johnson in on it," and they were like, "Oh God, what did he say?" And they were like, "No, yeah, he said that he's going to change the power structure of the entire universe." And they're like, "Oh, that's exactly what he said the DCEU right before he killed it with Black Adam." I forget what we. I feel like we watched something that had that line in it. I just don't remember what it was.
I don't know where this sudden sense of pettiness from me came from, but I hope people never let him live that down. I hope whenever he believes in himself, they just whisper in his ear, Black Adam, and he just shuts down completely. I don't know. Just the thought of that brings me
He's
joy.
just chilling, having a good time, taking pictures with friends, and then some rando comes up behind him and whispers into his ear, Black Adam. And he's just like, "Hey, man, whoa, what the hell? What's wrong with you? What did I ever do to you? You don't got to come at me like that."
and then people are like, "Yo, Dwayne, are you all right?" Yeah, yeah, of course, Dwayne's always all right. Why? Well, it's like, well, your baldness is sweating, and like just wiping off the fucking sweat from the top of his head. Oh
Yeah, no,
man.
I'm a big guy. I've been awake since 3:30 this morning. I do a lot. It's a busy time for me. I always do that kind of stuff. I sweat a lot. I get off my back.
Yeah. You're perfect. So beyond all that, I guess we can go to the more personal side because we play the same games together. I never really game independently of you, so there's nothing to report there. I haven't really listened to any new music either. I think it's been kind of just a low key thing for me on music. What about you? Any cool music? Any cool games going on?
Oh, feel like this week has been so short.
Yeah, I agree. It's been weird in that way.
Because like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I felt like all those days were Sunday. And then Thursday felt like Friday, and then yesterday felt like Saturday, and now today feels like yesterday.
There's a song in there somewhere.
Probably,
Um,
probably. No, musically though, because it was so fucking hot earlier this week, because I think this was the week, yeah, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it was like 100 degrees out, or at least close to it. It was in the high 90s. I was in that like summer music mood, so I was listening to Shwazy and Boys Like Girls, and there's a relatively new pop punk band called Super Sometimes that I'm a big fan of that I've been following on YouTube for a little while now. I was listening to them as well, and most recently I was listening to Super Duper Kyle. I don't know if you're familiar with him. That's the guy that does that "I Spy" song that starts out with Lil Yachty talking about, "Man, fuck them kids, bro."
oh, nice, nice, nice. Yeah.
I love
I
that we
just
knew
have.
about Lil Yachty like a decade before he showed up on WWE television. That made me feel good.
Yeah. Also, respect to Liliana because I feel like the way they've been using him, it hasn't annoyed me. It's actually kind of oddly worked, I guess. It hasn't overstayed its welcome.
I agree.
Um, But yeah, anything else on the pop culture side? Because I know we'll have like questions from Super Blue. So whenever you're ready for Q&A, because I feel like actually the only other thing I would say is with the family. We did watch Pluribus. Now that's my second time watching the show. God, it's amazing. If you enjoy Vince Gilligan, if you enjoy Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, this is a very tonally different show. But that's what makes me so impressed with Vince Gilligan is he's not afraid to go outside of seemingly go outside of his comfort zone. He seemed like he wrote this with a lot of confidence, and I really enjoyed this. But we also watched a competition show, so we're finally getting off that Love After Lockup stuff, at least for now. We watched Outlast in the Jungle, which is pretty much that like survivalist competition show. You're given these supplies and you got to rough it in a certain terrain for an amount of time. Man, y'all, that shit was crazy. If you're looking for stuff that actually like I don't know feels competitive and isn't this mundane, banal like oh he's hot and I'm gonna get drunk and make a move or whatever like that just seems to be fucking everywhere like Love Island and all that fucking shit. This was a really fun experience. Really cool competitors and clearly very produced also in its own way because there was a very heavily misogynistic team that were like the heels and then there was a group that came together that I looked at as the ultimate baby faces and it's just great. Everything comes back to pro wrestling essentially. But
Yep.
that was a lot of fun and yeah, yeah. My sister actually right now because I got Apple TV Plus for my brother-in-law's birthday. She's probably done the movie by now. She's probably been like way done that by now. But she was watching the movie Lucky that I know you, me, and your mom watched. I think like last year. And I even told my sister, I'm like, that's a super cute movie, and I was really glad that she was watching it. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're getting a lot out of the subscription. My brother-in-law, I'll tell you, he's obsessed with the show Yellowstone. He fucking loves Yellowstone on
Nice.
Peacock.
Okay.
And like yeah, so that's just everything going on at my house. But I really got nothing else to report, man. So really, it's all you. And when you wrap up, we can just get right into Q&A. Of
Okay, I did want to just add a little tiny bit.
course.
First of all, I wanted to just say rest in peace to Sam Neill. I would consider him a
Yes.
legend, and I just, at least for me growing up, I always really enjoyed his character, Dr. Alan Grant in the Jurassic movies. I think he actually helped a lot with Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, and most recently, I want to say he was no, it was just Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom. Um, when I watched that movie the first time, I said that's my favorite Jurassic movie since the original Park. And I think
Yeah.
even upon rewatch, it holds up oddly enough. Um, am I remembering the right one? Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Okay, no, it was Dominion. It was Jurassic World Dominion. That was the one that I'm thinking of. That was the more recent one. Yeah, that was 2022. Yeah, that's the one that he was in that I would consider the best Jurassic movie since the original Park. And then more recently, we had Jurassic World Rebirth, which felt really fucking hollow and not that good. Dominion, I think, holds up really well, and I think that he is a huge part of the reason why it holds up well. I love the scene where the little girl is using Chris Pratt's character's little technique for quelling the aggression in the dinosaurs and just like holding their hand up, and he's just like, does that really work? And he goes to do it, and then you just see him and the little girl doing it side by side. It's a really cute moment. Um, So yeah, rest in peace, Sam Neill. Really sad that he's no longer with us. I thought he was awesome, and it's honestly, obviously, it's like tragic that his family that's left behind is no longer going to have him in their lives. But like on a personal level, it's tragic to me that he's not going to be in any more Jurassic movies. That blows. He was awesome. Um, then because we want to talk about what we watched this week on Sunday, our off day, I do tend to go through watching some movies with my mom. And this past week, we watched 4 in a row. We watched Oliver and Company because of Mike and Nick and Alice's opening scene, making me want to watch that movie. I loved that movie.
Yes.
And then we watched Daddy Daycare, Doctor Dolittle, and Doctor Dolittle 2. So we watched Oliver and Company, and then we had an Eddie Murphy marathon. It was great.
Nice. Very nice.
Have you seen all those movies already?
No.
Have
I
you seen
think
any of those movies already?
I think the first one.
You've
I
seen
don't I
Oliver
don't
and
think I've
Company?
no. I meant like because you said
Daddy
Doctor Dolittle,
Daycare.
right? I don't think I've seen Daddy Daycare. I don't think
But
I've
you
seen
have
Oliver and
seen
Company.
Doctor Dolittle, the first one.
Yes.
All right.
I believe so, but yeah, I definitely haven't seen Oliver and Company or Daddy
That's
Daycare.
a
Well,
that's a cute
yeah.
animated Disney movie, Oliver and Company. It's a really good one.
Yeah, I believe it. I've
I'm
heard of it. I know of it, but yeah, I don't think I've ever
Yeah, I'm
watched it.
surprised we haven't watched that one together, to be honest. But um, other than that, though, I don't think I've watched anything else. Oh, there was a night that I was getting into Metabots. I fucking love Metabots, but for some reason, I always decide to watch it right before I'm ready to fall asleep, and I only ever get through the first like 3 or 4 episodes. It's kind of like the way that you and I at one point would randomly watch the first few episodes of Trailer Park Boys and then just drop it. I'm kind of like that
Yeah.
with Metabots by myself, where I'll just watch the first 2 or 3 or 4 episodes and then be ready to fall asleep and be done with it for the night and then not pick it back up immediately afterwards. That happened to me this week. Um, there is a new movie coming out that I wanted us to talk about, and then there's another one that I wanted you to watch the trailer of. So there's a new movie coming out called the Alpha Gang that is going to be debuting at the Toronto International Film Festival very soon, if it hasn't already. It is directed by the Zellner brothers, and it stars Dave Bautista, Lily Rose Depp, Chris Pine, Riley Keough, Lea Seydoux, and Kate Blanchett. What a cast! It's
Yeah.
an alien movie. It's a movie about a bunch of aliens who come to Earth and disguise themselves as a 50s biker gang in their attempt to take over the planet. It looks really fun. So that looks interesting and a lot of fun, hopefully. And then there was a whole discussion of actually several discussions in the movies and television channel this week about Power Rangers because
Yes.
that website that has been kind of popular, grids.fun, has been kind of hitting this week. And so everyone is making their own little grids, and I made one as well. And it's just, what's your favorite series? What has the best story, favorite suit designs, etc. I made one. I know that Curtis made one. He was the first one to post. DBK. Actually, I think, yeah. Um, I think DBK might have been the first one to do the Power Rangers one. Alex made one. Javaris, I think, might have made one, but I'm not 100% sure. Super Blue made one. Curtis made one. I mentioned that already. I don't think Javaris ever made one. Javaris, you got to make one, man. Come on. Um, so that was like a whole discussion though that we had. But then, dude, scroll up a little bit in the movies and television channel until you find the trailer that I posted for the movie The Wrong Girls. It looks so fucking good. We need to watch that movie when it comes out. It's in theaters on August 14th, which means we're not going to be able to watch it right away. We'll probably be able to watch it probably like late September, early October. That movie looks so fucking good though. And here's the thing: it features the actress who played Maybe in Arrested Development as
Nice.
one of the
Nice. I
stars.
like her.
It's her and Kristen Stewart as the stars of the movie.
Nice. Yeah, I'm definitely into that for sure. Yeah, that would be good.
It looks really
Um,
good, and it's uh, directed by this, or not directed, produced. It's produced by the same people who produced Blockers, which is one of those comedies that came out in the last decade that we fucking loved.
yeah, that was great. Oh my God.
Yeah, I still think about Blockers to this day. Like, dude, Ike Barinholtz, the guy who was in that movie with John Cena and Leslie Mann, the third parent in that trio, was just the fucking host of Kimmel He replaced Kimmel because Kimmel was on vacation. He was on the show. He was the host of it. It blew my mind. I was like, holy shit, that's the guy from Blockers. And he was like, he even like used his sort of like low key not famous status to make a segment on the show where he went around to random people in New York and asked if they knew who he was. And I think all of them actually did not.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
But Blockers was, I mean, dude, that scene where John Cena and Gary Cole have eye contact while the latter's,
Yeah.
having intercourse, to put
Yeah.
it plainly,
Yeah.
just legendary.
Eye
Legendary.
contact during climax.
Yes. Goddamn.
I
Um,
also loved the car scene where they're trying to flip it and it just goes the opposite direction.
yes. Yes.
Oh man. Listen, everyone in here right now, if you have never seen the movie Blockers, aka Cock Blockers, starring John Cena, the trailers made it look cringe, but trust me, it's fucking great. It is so fucking good. It is a great movie. And every single actor slash actress in it puts on an incredible performance. It is where I discovered Geraldine Viswanathan, who plays John Cena's daughter in that movie. She is fucking great in that movie. It was the first time I think that I've ever seen Catherine Newton, who ended up getting cast to play Cassie Lang in Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania. Like, that movie was a fucking star maker for some of those younger girls. And my God, was it great.
Yes. Hard agree with Ashton here, guys. Check that movie out. Anything else you want to report on, brother?
No.
All right, let's get to Q&A. Which really, it's only 4 questions because I feel like we already answered Super
The
Blue's
Mitch
5th
McConnell
question.
one. Yeah, I will just say before we just move on past that, I think we're getting to the point that just because we are in the very beneficial position of having an actual Democrat governor of Kentucky, he might be able to do something about this. He might actually be able to force the hand of the people trying to protect the fact that Mitch McConnell is dead from the public until August 4th, and we might get something. I don't know. I mean, we just got the article today where Andy Bashir, the governor of Kentucky, came out and said that he was on the phone with people who told him that McConnell was dead. So if he has that information now, he should be able to act on it. If he has any interest in running for president in 2028, something that he could literally run on in 2028 is, I'm the reason that we have a Democrat from Kentucky in the Senate right now.
Yes. Yes. So we'll see. We'll see. But
And that was
go.
actually Super Blue's last question, so now we have to go back and do the first 4. Should I start with number 1?
Yes. Yes, we should do it sequentially for sure.
Do you think the Order 4 members regret sticking with Mustafa Ali instead of going with Cedric Alexander all those months ago? Oh, I don't know, Super Blue. Do you regret rooting for LA Knight every time you do? Do you think that we regret becoming Obafemi fans a few years ago? No, because they're good decisions. And my God, why would you ask that when they've just added this absolutely gorgeous, sexy librarian, tall, 5'10", hot wrestler lady to their faction? What a weird timing thing to do.
I mean, look, you know that my face enjoys 3 things: being brilliant, being handsome, and being correct. And doing all 3 of those things at once, I would just like to formally declare, in Ali I trust. Okay? Order 4 is just fine. Super Blue, simmer down. Um,
I need an explanation for the timing of this question, because the video that he posted is Ali announcing the addition of this woman, Mila Moore, who is a tall, gorgeous, sexy librarian looking lady who actually has a history of pro wrestling. She's got almost 100 matches under her belt, so she can actually do stuff in the ring, and now she's coming out to basically be your new Brooke Tessmacher, and you're complaining?
Yeah, yeah, Super Blue's cooked. I mean, if this is what you're complaining about, dude. I mean, listen, I'm complaining about the fact that Ali hasn't been vying for the world title. Like, I'm glad he has a championship at all, but like, I feel like there was a point where he could have been a main event guy, and TNA was like, haha, LOL, pass. But I mean, this is great, and clearly this is going to be great for Tasha Steelz because I think she's going to be the first to break away from the group. Because I actually did watch that segment, and the face she was serving, she was
Yeah.
not happy with
So,
Ali at
I mean, just
all.
to answer the question directly, do you think Order 4 regrets sticking with Ali instead of going with Cedric Alexander months ago? Everyone but Tasha? No. Tasha? Probably. But, Tasha's going to be fine. She's going to do better without them.
Exactly. All right. Second question. Have you called or emailed your U.S. representatives to try and get them to not screw us over, or do you do other things to help in these times? I call them sometimes, but to be honest, my representatives suck so much ass, particularly in the Senate, and we have a Republican governor, that for me it feels a bit futile, and I know that's kind of a cop-out, but I'm really looking forward to voting in the election September 8th, because there are some people on the ballot that are very progressive that don't take APAC money. In the meantime, I'm gonna be honest with you, Super Blue. I give more to international call. Like the last time I donated, I gave like $200 to Venezuela because to an organization that's meant to curb child trafficking. Because unfortunately, child trafficking saw a spike after the earthquakes. So for me, I try and mitigate international damage because we're in the belly of the beast. Like we live in the empire. So that's the last time I did anything. And there's going to come a point where I put a cap on it because the holidays will be coming up and I want to have a little bit of a fund for that. But yeah, I try and give when I can. And I think the last time I gave to anything domestically was to Delaney Hall because we know that they're doing that hunger strike. Which, by the way, speaking of ICE detention centers, just a very quick aside, there was actually a shooting at one in Phoenix, Arizona, and I think it was like a potential uprising. Again, expect more of that to happen. Oh, and speaking of uprisings, I already mentioned this before, but just to really emphasize the point, body bags were left outside OpenAI headquarters. So again, people are really starting to get fed up. But yeah, the last thing I did was Delaney Hall, which I'd like to give to them again now that I think about it. But yeah, I do more international stuff, admittedly, with my donations, and I haven't called my representatives in months. What about you, Ashton? When's the last time you rung your representatives?
I My representative is also a Republican. I think Dan Muser is the guy's name. And
Yeah.
both of my senators are Republicans, even though one of them has a D next to his name, aka Fetterman.
Oh, that's
So
right. I'm so sorry.
yeah, no, there's really no reason for me to make any calls. But I think in terms of other things that we do to help in these times, I think what we're doing right now goes a pretty long way. I mean, Super Blue, think about where we're at right now with you, even specifically. 5, 6 years ago, I didn't hear much from you in terms of political discussions whatsoever. Especially if we go back a decade. I don't know how like in tune with politics you were. You've been with us now for a long time, and now you're the one going out of your way to ask political questions on our weekly Q&A.
Yeah.
You're the
Mm-hmm.
one going out of your way to call your representatives in Oklahoma. You're the one going out of your way to talk about maybe donating money. Like, I think that you are actually a great example of what we are doing to help in these times, because we are kind of proselytizing and trying to kind of get the word out there that not only do we deserve better, and when I say we, I'm talking about like people in general, not just John and I specifically, but people in general deserve better than the capitalist hellhole that we live in, and that there are
Yes.
alternatives that work, that will work, that are possible, that are feasible. And I think that kind of the way that like Zoran Mamdani was able to get voted into power in New York City, and even though he's just the mayor of a little city, he's using that power to show people that a better way of life is possible. We're doing that on a much smaller scale here because we don't have the power, but we are still doing everything that we can using what little voices we have and what little platform we have to try and get the word out and make sure that people are aware of the fact that we don't have to stand for this shit.
I think Ashton's 100% correct, and I would add to that. I think spaces like this, spaces like Instagram, because I don't post on Instagram, but I follow a lot of left wing accounts, and there's one friend on there I talk to because Messenger doesn't really work for them. These spaces that are decentralized have been amazing for like left wing education and radicalism, and I think so much of it comes back to education because we have a literacy crisis, and we have people that I think when you're such a heavily propagandized nation as the US is, there's so much unlearning that has to happen before the radicalism can take root. And even just Ashton and I talking about, like, again, as Ashton pointed out, like DSA or Mamdani's policies, or how housing is a human right, and just things like that. I think that goes a long way. I think he's 100% right. And I think, again, if you have the material means to give, you absolutely should. I think going back to the domestic thing, Super Blue, with your question, one place that I've been eyeing is that my state of New Hampshire has a mutual aid organization that I would like to give more to, because I know even just a few weeks ago they were giving water to people to help them avoid heat stroke because we had very high temperatures here. Mutual aid networks are the future, because a lot is going to happen environmentally, with energy, all sorts of sectors of life and society, that it's really going to come down to us supporting each other. So, I mean, yeah, that's a recommendation I would make to you, Super Bowl. I know there's even a site where you can like put in your zip code and you can see what mutual aid organizations exist in your area. I should see if I could find that for you and I can ping you in it. You should see in Oklahoma what mutual aid organizations there are, because I think they would be so lucky to have you. I mean, you've really done well. I think you said you donated PBS a little while ago. You have been sounding the alarm on internet like safety and like those bills they're trying to put through, and just the
Yeah,
autonomy
age
of the
verification, big time for sure.
yeah, I mean, Super Blue's been the biggest advocate by far on this channel, because, like, he talks about it so much, I never really feel the need to, quite honestly.
Yep.
So, Super Blue, I would find a mutual aid org if I was you, if you're really looking to do more, and see if they're looking for people, because that is where I think so many people get overwhelmed when they are starting to learn, is like, well, what do I do? And again, that's a feeling I sympathize with, but I always, I love the saying, I think it started with Mr. Rogers, and I know other leftists have said it since, like, go where the helpers are. There are people that have been building infrastructure for decades. You don't need to build something new. You need to go to what's already been built and help sustain it, especially against right-wing attacks, because they've attacked higher ed. They want to attack any spaces where left-wing ideas are germinating, because they're scared of it. I mean, these people, even though they own the Capitol, they own the resources, everything, they're speaking from a place of fear. Rubio, Miller, Johnson, Trump, they're speaking from a place of fear. And I like seeing them afraid, and I want to keep seeing them afraid. So, yeah, see if there's a mutual aid org in Oklahoma. I would recommend that. Question
I would
three.
also just say before you move on
Yes.
that you mentioned
Yes.
spaces, and even just us being here to provide a safe space for our black fans, for our gay fans, for our
Yes.
non-binary fans to be able to spend time, to be able to go to a safe space, to be able to ask for help if they need it, to be able to spend time and be able to talk to people and feel safe is a big deal. It's more than nothing.
Oh, absolutely.
I
You
wish
guys
we could
are
I wish we
fucking
could
awesome.
grow our audience in a safe and sustainable way that made sure to kind of filter out the chuds. But growing your audience almost necessarily means unintentionally welcoming in people that you don't necessarily want in your audience.
For sure. And you know what, guys? It's been a benefit to us too, because I'll tell you, having black and female and stuff listeners, like, it gets us out of our own perspective, which I always want to stay out of,
Yes.
That's one benefit of my algorithm on even Facebook, even though they try and like slip in that right wing fucking garbage every now and again. I hear a lot from black women, from trans creators, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the knowledge base. That's the base where resiliency happens, where praxis happens, and I hope we win, and again, I do say it is a matter of faith at the end of the day, but I mean, we've got the heart, we've got the passion, we've got the history. I mean, so many organizers have been preparing for this again for decades. And the idea that we can use our platform to talk about that and talk about our experiences, and again, as Ashton said, to be that safe space. Absolutely, because all of society, for right wingers, they want to terraform it to be their safe space. Again, every
Exactly.
accusation is a confession.
Yep.
Every accusation is a confession.
Well, and
So
that's the thing
yeah,
too. Like this, I think you could argue that the current right wing movement that we're dealing with right now stems from a movement in kind of like the early to mid 2000s to push back against homophobia and to push
yes.
back against anti-black racism and to push back against Islamophobia that stemmed from 9/11. And because there was so much pushing back against those things, people who were online who thought that because they were anonymous that they had a safe space to be Islamophobic, to be homophobic, to be anti-black racist, got moderated out of certain spaces, whether it was, MySpace or Facebook or, later on Twitter or Instagram or whatever. Those people congregated to fucking 4chan. And guess who infiltrated 4chan? Jeffrey fucking Epstein in Israel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's where the shit started, man. It's a fucking origin story of
Everything.
grotesque
Yeah.
measures.
Yeah. And not to be reductive about it, but like, I really think you could say a shorthand before you go deeper, obviously, and add depth and complexity to your analysis. Everything comes back to capital. everything comes back to fucking like everything. Or if you prefer the more pithy saying, follow the money, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just always that fucking shit. So question 3 from Super Blue. Do you think he referred to Trump as orange dumbass here? So I'm reading Super Blue verbatim. Do you think orange dumbass will invalidate the midterms once they lose in November? And if so, will there be an uprising to stop him? My guy, my personal. Now I want to specify this is my personal opinion, not Ashton's. Ashton will give his own opinion in a moment. I think an uprising might happen regardless. Like I feel like the degradation of material conditions is happening at such a rate that I don't even know if the democratic shift can course correct enough in time, especially again with more austerity coming after the midterms from the BBB bill, the big bullshit bill. I know they call it big beautiful bill. That I think it might happen regardless, to be honest with you. And if he invalidates it, it's just going to exacerbate the fire. I've already said, so I don't want to be redundant, the news stories that make me think like tides are turning. We already see data from the fucking Cato Institute of all people, which again, right wing think tank. Like, it's happening, my dude. It's just a question of will it be too, because again, we're working against the climate here and we're working against ecology. Will it be quote unquote too late? But then again, what does that even mean, right? I would have to define that. I think it's happening regardless. So it doesn't really matter if he allows it, which he won't, or if he invalidates it, he'll try and do it. People are getting fed up, and I think people are realizing the existential stakes here. Like it's my life or theirs, and most people are going to choose them and their kids and the people they love. And if enough of us do that, we can beat these fuckers. So I personally think it's happening regardless, but now I'm going to hand it over to Ashton to see what he thinks.
I Here's the thing. I'm sure Trump would love to try and invalidate the midterms, but the problem is he does not have the ability or the power to do that. And no matter how hard he tries, there is nothing that he can do to invalidate those votes. They're like he wanted really badly to invalidate the 2020 election too, and he is still hung up on that shit. He is still obsessed with that 2020 election that he lost, and he's still talking about it. That's what Thursday was about. The live stream that he did, he talked so much about that 2020 election, talking about, oh, there's foreign interference. And then they actually did release some documents. And you want to know what those documents proved? That Russia genuinely did mingle with the 2020 election to try and get Trump elected again. They tried to help him. All the fucking documents that Trump's regime put out proved was that there was foreign interference in the election that failed to do what it wanted, which was help him. So like the main thing that Trump is trying to do is just sow disdain. He's trying to sow discord basically into just enough people that maybe he can get himself another January 6th under his belt. But what happened with January 6th? They fucking failed. People died, which was tragic, and people might die again. And if that does happen, it will be tragic again. But do you know what's not going to happen is that they're not going to prevent the swing of the House and the Senate from happening. The House is almost guaranteed to swing Dem, and the Senate is not a sure thing, but based on the vibes of the country right now and the direction that it's headed, it's pretty likely to happen. I actually think we might be headed for a total flip of the Senate, meaning not only are we going to go just from Republicans to Democrats, but I think the exact number of the majority that the Republicans have now, the 53 to 47, is going to turn on its head, and we're going to go to a 53-47 Democrat majority. And that's even assuming that a Democrat doesn't manage to win in Kentucky if they do a special election. If Kentucky does a special election and they nominate a Republican and they have Thomas Massey running as an independent, we could easily see a Democrat win in Kentucky. Because even if they only get 42% of the vote and the Republican gets 27 and Thomas Massey gets 23, then even though the Republican leaning members of the election got a higher percentage of the vote, because neither one of them got more votes than the Democrat would still win that election. So we could viably have a Democrat from Kentucky in the Senate if Andy Beshear plays his cards right as early as this fucking year. And if that happens, then we're looking at 54-46. And then if Dan Osborne beats Dan Ricketts in Nebraska, then we're looking at 54-45 with a left-leaning independent in Dan Osborne from Nebraska. That's like You're closing in on being able to pass legislation by your fucking self without needing help from the president. Like, that's insane shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, one other thing that I want to say about this too, I think potentially, because again, there are a lot of other factors than this. We've got AI, we've got the manosphere, we have a lot of things to consider. But I do think one positive, and I use that term very loosely, of this regime is that they are causing a cultural shift. I was talking to my friend Jess, again, the one that's in Canada dealing with these fucking awful wildfires, and I said that like they're underwater on every issue. Like they made immigration a net positive in this country, and that's insane to me. So I feel like also what we're seeing beyond party lines is we're seeing slowly, and I want to emphasize slowly. I don't want to, overstate the case, but I think we're seeing people reassess the cultural values that have been kind of a bedrock to this country, and they're looking for new values and new ways to live. I see something happening. It's just the rate at which it's happening that I think could be up for debate, but there's no denying, again, when you look at the data, something is happening here. When people are like, capitalism kind of sucks, which is music to my fucking ears. Yeah, Super Blue. Gears are moving, bud.
Yeah.
I have no doubt about that. Final question here from Super Blue. Another TNA question. I mean, I gotta watch TNA just for the sole purpose of being able to more authoritatively answer these questions from Super Blue. Uh, do you believe KC Navarro can beat Nick Nemeth for the TNA World Title on Impact next week? If KC loses, he has to stay out of Nick's life. I have no idea about any of this. I have zero context, and all due respect, Super Blue, because it's getting close to 1 a.m. here, I'm not going to watch that video to save time. I'm just going to assume that TNA really, really likes Nemeth, even though, again, not even once, and he's just going to retain. Do you have any opinion to give on this?
What was the question again?
Do you believe KC Navarro can beat Nick Nemeth for the TNA World Title on Impact next week? If KC loses, he has to stay out of Nick's life.
No.
There you go. So that's Q&A. Let's move on to high spots and low shots. I'm gonna say that my low shot is the collective trio of Mike Johnson, Marco Rubio, and Stephen Miller, because you're all a bunch of scared little pieces of shit, and you're terrified of communists, and you're trying to blame communists because you know your policies are unpopular, you know people are getting sick of your shit, and you're trying to insulate yourself from the consequences, hiding behind NSPM7 and pretty much the monopoly of violence that is the state. So to Red Pill Megamind ass, go fuck yourself. To Mike Johnson, go fuck yourself. And to Marco Rubio, go fuck yourself. Definite low shot because they're cowardly and they're afraid. Who's your low shot?
I just want to actually add on to that. My first of all, different subject, but my honorary low shot is going to be Paige and Brie Bella for losing their tag titles tonight. But my actual low shot is going to go to Russ Vogt for the whole, the exact same thing that you just mentioned, but also for getting chewed the fuck out in Congress by Ayanna Presley, and that being like a big viral moment now this week too.
I need to watch that. I didn't know about that. He creeps
Dude,
me out, man.
she
Him
was
getting chewed up, yeah.
fantastic. She was great. She did a great job. And then one of the random ass Republican House members was like, "But what about Obamacare?" And she was like, why are you talking when I have not I forget what the word is, but something my time. They don't think it's concede, but whatever the fuck. Yeah.
Or yeah, it could be seated or something like that.
It's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
it's not exactly that, but it's
I will not. Well, I'm seeing the quote here. She said, "I will not yield." So maybe I didn't yield my
yield.
time.
Thank you. Yeah, I will not.
Yeah,
Why are you talking when I have not yielded my time? Is what she said. It was awesome. She was great.
dude. I
Seeing
love. You know what?
and can I
Yeah.
just say too, like seeing a very obviously confident bald black woman sitting there and reading the fucking riot act to this piece of shit white supremacist garbage person. That's the America I want, man. Right there. That's what the fuck
Yeah.
I'm talking about. Give me that every day. God damn.
Abso-fucking-lutely, man. Abso-fucking-lutely.
And the thing is, I'm
I
not
did.
even that big of a fan of Ayanna Presley. She's not as far left as I'd like to see. I like out of the squad, because she's one of the members of the squad, but of the members of the squad, I consider her kind of a fucking traitor because she's the least pro Medicare for all out of the members of the squad. She's not as pro Medicare for all as I'd like her to be. But she
Uh,
still did a great fucking job there.
Yeah, Talib is my favorite, and I also saw she snapped on
Dude,
Russ Vote as well, so
yes,
I'm gonna
she
watch
had a
her
great
stuff.
moment. Yeah, again, Russ Vote, low shot for me. Yeah, Rashida had a great moment in that hearing as well. That was great.
Really,
I don't know if she's my favorite because I do love AOC, but I love Rashida. She's up there, and I love Ilhan Omar as well. They're both great as well.
yeah, I think they're my two favorites. You already know how I feel about AOC, and
Can I ask you,
Ayanna Pressley. I don't
is
have.
your entire like not as happy about AOC thing derived from that one quote from the DNC 2024?
I, I've also heard she's voted in Israel's favor a few times with like the Iron Dome. Like, when it comes to international politics and like really just foreign policy, I've just always kept it real with you, man. I don't trust her. I don't trust her. She's gonna have to earn my trust, and I think that's a fair thing to ask as like a constituent
Right.
of somebody that could be running for president.
Yeah.
So she's gonna have to earn my trust. But domestically, look, domestically, she seems strong, but like I don't know, man. I just
Hey,
don't
I know that
trust it.
she was a big proponent of Mamdani, helped him get elected in a major way. So
Yeah.
she's down with the DSA, and I know that the DSA is very anti-Israel. So she, she's not afraid to rubber stamp that. So I'm,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, that's always the difficult thing for me because look, obviously I can be very absolutist in some of my stances, and I understand that when you actually have material power, like pragmatism has to win the day. But I think there also has to be a debate between I understand pragmatics, but like what's my personal red line as a voter? And I've been talking about that more lately, like the last year or so.
yeah.
And that's just a debate for me. That's a debate that every individual has to have, and I respect everybody having that debate for themselves. It's just one I'm having for me. But I'll say this. If she runs for president, I mean, she's got my vote. Just fuck Gavin Newsom. I keep saying Gavin Newsom's the one guy I'm not voting for. So y'all can
And
like
he,
fucking
of
say
course,
that.
he had to chime in and talk about the Trump address on Thursday and be like, "Oh, these are the ramblings of a man who's blah blah blah." Like, God, fuck off, Gavin. Nobody asked you what you had to fucking say about it. God.
I don't even care how hyperbolic this sounds. This is how I genuinely feel. That dude gives me American Psycho vibe, like Patrick Bateman fucking
Dude,
vibe. I do not trust that
specifically
dude.
Christian Bale edition of Patrick Bateman.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. No, what I do not. You want to talk about not trusting people? I unequivocally, domestically or internationally, do not trust that piece
I
of
mean,
shit.
dude, the thing with Gavin is like he's gonna try so hard to run on a left-leaning populist message, but he's a fucking real estate guy. You
Yeah.
don't get to be on the side of the people and Zillow at the same time. Fuck you.
Here's the thing, bro. You're unequivocally correct. I just need to air one fear I have with you because we've talked about like the literacy crisis and everything. I worry that for a certain segment of the voting populace, and hopefully it's not that big of a segment, parroting the talking points and actually embodying them, they're not going to be able to tell the difference.
Yeah,
Like
no,
I
you're right.
worry that
No, I
yeah,
agree that that's definitely like
yeah.
because the thing is though, I don't know. It's we this might take a while if we really get into it, but I just worry. I do worry that he's going to basically do what like Kamala and Tulsi did in 2020, which was basically parroting shit that Bernie made popular after the fact.
Yes. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I worry about that too, especially because, and this is what I've always worried about with establishment Dems, and we've talked about this concept before. I always worry as a communist. Again, I'm wearing that. It's what I am, right? I only do bourgeois politics because, again, pragmatics, and I definitely see a groundswell happening, and whatever accelerates it, I'm down for. But I do also worry about desire capture. It's like there's this genuine hunger for a new politics, for new concepts, for a new culture, and certain candidates will capture that and they'll funnel it back into the status quo. That is especially worrying to me for a guy like Gavin Newsom because
Yeah.
he could parrot the talking points that would really mirror that hunger. And then let's keep it real, y'all. And I still don't think enough of us are ready to have this conversation. That was what Obama was. 1000% that's what Obama was because when you remember what he campaigned on, which I was reminded of several months ago thanks to that either TikTok or whatever that I think you posted, Ashton, how progressive his platform was and then how he governed. That's why I always roll my eyes when conservatives are like, what about Obamacare? That was a healthcare plan that originally came from the fucking Heritage Foundation, one of the architects of Project 2025. Like, enough of these fucking candidates. We need
Yeah.
real radicalism.
Obamacare was
And yeah.
always the compromise. That's the thing.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And not enough people talk about that. And not enough people talk about that and again, just my opinion, if it wasn't for racism and it wasn't for like fucking white supremacy making certain brains fucking figgy pudding, not able to have a critical fucking thought. Obama would have been their favorite president since fucking Reagan. He bailed out the corporations. He never closed Guantanamo. In fact, I think he even had a hand in expanding private prisons, if I remember correctly. He destabilized Libya and made them, they were once a nation that looked like they were going to nationalize resources. Now they have fucking slave markets because they destabilized the government. Like, Reagan would have loved this dude if he also wasn't a racist piece of shit. But again, we're not enough of us, I think, are ready to have that conversation because he's still a great orator. He's still in his older age, a good looking guy. And so much of politics is aesthetics. And that's the one thing I think the left, and I mean like the true left, like guys like you and I, like on that fringe, we still haven't fully learned to get our own candidates in there, like how power works aesthetically. And we're gonna keep nibbling on the periphery until we do. Super Lou, if you could contextualize what the what reaction was about. But yeah, like that's why I worry about a Gavin Newsom. Look, AOC, I've aired my misgivings and I've been consistent with them, but I would still vote for her at the end of the day, just because again I want to capitalize on this momentum that's happening, and I think real commies should be infiltrating DSA, and I'm not even fucking kidding. Like you should be getting in there, you should be either making DSA chapters yourself or joining them and fucking pushing it further left on the ground level. Either that or doing your own shit and continuing to build mutual aid. But like we need everybody we can get right against this fascist threat. Gavin Newsom, he's not with us. And he's a conservative. I'm not voting for a fucking Republican. So I hope he doesn't get the nom, but we'll see. But yeah, I love that you gave Russ Vogt your low shot just to bring it all full circle. That was a great shout because you let me know things. I'm going to watch the Rashida clip later and the Presley clip later. High spot for me is super fucking easy. Pakistan, and particularly the Revolutionary Communist Party of Pakistan. Fucking, like, I cried reading that, okay? The idea that they're actually fighting state power and seemingly winning, the idea that they organized a fucking general strike and have shut down state power, y'all are fucking goated. I have never been this excited or proud to give a high spot, I think probably in the whole history of the show, because I never thought I'd be able to say a communist movement is fucking winning. Like, put that shit in my veins. Make that shit the motif of the fucking Matrix you want to put me in when the world goes to shit. I grin and I beam every time I think about it. The Revolutionary Communist Party of Pakistan, very, very strong high spot. I hope you fucking win. Know that the people are with you. Fuck the state power. All power to all the people. Nationalize those fucking resources. Break them down. And honestly, honorary high spot continues to go to Iran and Yemen, because you know what? I know we're going to suffer and I know it's going to be bad, but U.S. empire needs to be fucking humbled and it needs to have its kneecaps fucking broken. And you do that through energy markets. Them controlling these straits, it's telling you, like, don't fuck with us. And meanwhile, what do these people have on the U.S. side? Oh, well, Hegseth is going to give the troops more testosterone. Yeah, you're really doing great fighting this war. So yeah, honorary high spot, Iran and Yemen, but actual high spot, fucking Pakistan and the Revolutionary Communist Party, based fucking shit. So who's your high spot?
So before I do give my high spot, I want to backtrack just a little tiny bit, and I want to offer up one more honorary low shot to
Of course.
Jay Clayton. I don't know if you're familiar with this guy. He is Donald Trump's Director of National Intelligence nominee. He's the nominee for Trump's Director of National Intelligence. And he got made an absolute fucking fool of this week by my high spot, who is a little bit of like a bitter, kind of like not even enthusiastic high spot, John Ossoff. I don't know how much we've talked about this guy already, but oh my God. I mean, if you have ever wanted to see a grown man metaphorically tuck his tail between his legs and hide in a corner in the middle of a fucking hearing, watch the clip of John Ossoff grilling Jay Clayton. Because holy shit, all he asks this dude is who won the 2020 presidential election, and the guy fucking folds like origami, man. It's crazy. He's like, I'm not gonna get into that with you. What do you mean? And he's like, it's a simple question. Everyone in this room knows the answer to it. Why can't you answer it? And the guy's like, I think I did answer it already. And he's like, no, you didn't. You're supposed to be truthful with the American people. He's like, I think I've been very truthful. And he's like, well, but you're not even answering the question. And he's like, I think I did answer the question. He's like, why is it that you know the answer to this question, but you are so afraid of what President Trump will do or say to you that you're unwilling to just tell the truth to the court. It is such an amazing moment of transparency that genuinely, like, I don't even like John Ossoff because he is not as anti-Israel or pro Medicaid for all as I would like for him to be. But he
Yes.
is going to run for president in 2028 off of clips like this, off of shit like this, because this is genuine career-making shit right here.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, the elections we have, I mean, first of all, midterms most immediately, of course, and then 2028, whatever the world even looks like by then.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, dude. If the fucking once
Yeah,
the Dems get in control of Congress in 2026, because that's like the big thing. The reason that the House hasn't passed jack squat in Trump's term is because you've got Mike Johnson as the House Speaker, and he doesn't put anything on the fucking floor to vote for. He's just like, hey,
exactly.
let's go to fucking vacation, everyone. I feel like the House has spent more time on vacation in the last year and a half than any actual like 2 year span of Congress, House meetings, whatever the fuck the word is, has in the history of Congress. It's insane. And it's all just because the only person that controls whether Congress is in session or not is Mike Johnson. And the only reason that he is in that spot where he can control it is because he is the House Majority Leader. And the reason he's the House Majority Leader is because he is a Republican who was voted by the majority of the House members, which are Republicans. But if you just flip the fucking House, all of a sudden, even if it is some like really shitty lib jackass like fucking Hakeem Jeffries, there's still gonna be shit getting done, unlike what's going on right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's way more important that we flip the Senate, and that's the reason I've been so hyper fixated on that this year, because if we flip the Senate, Trump can't hire anyone else anymore. Because the Senate determines whether people get hired by the government or not, basically. Like this John Ossoff clip is from the hiring process. It's in the Senate. The Senate approves hirees. They approve cabinet members and they approve Supreme Court justices. But so by flipping the Senate, we protect the Supreme Court.
Yes, yes. And especially when, who was it that it was rumored that they were retiring and then they retracted that story real quick? It
Clarence
wasn't
Thomas,
Gorsuch.
probably.
No, it wasn't Thomas. I think it wasn't
Roberts?
Gorsuch.
Was it Roberts?
It was no, it was either Roberts or I think it was Alito.
Was it Alito?
I think it was Alito.
Yeah, it was Alito.
It was Alito. It was Alito. So we don't want yet another concern. Like
yeah, that's
enough.
the thing. Is like if one of the many old ass conservative justices that we just named, we literally named four. We literally named four, and the only ones that we didn't name were Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett. But the four that we just named, Gorsuch, Roberts, Clarence Thomas, and Alito, if any of those four people dies or retires in between January of 2027 and January of 2029, Trump gets to name their replacement. And they're all old as fuck. So a replacement, Trump could just name a nice young replacement, someone like an Amy Coney Barrett, who I think's like 40-ish right now, that's going to be on the Supreme Court until they either die or retire, or the Democrats grow a fucking spine and decide to actually do Supreme Court reform, which I know Abdul El-Sayed is for, but he's one of potentially, if he wins, 100 senators. So if we have a blue Senate, that shit gets blocked. You have no way of pushing through a piece of shit alt-right young Supreme Court justice to replace any of those four members of the court while Trump is still in office. It's out of the question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if Fetterman jumps ship, and he's threatened to do so, he's literally said, if the Democratic Party abandons Israel, I'm switching sides to the Republicans. Fucking let him, because if the Democrats take over the Senate to the degree that I think they will, and we've talked about it already, up to 53, maybe even 54, depending on what happens with Kentucky, maybe Florida is a lost cause, but if it's not, then you never know. We don't need Fetterman. Fuck him.
Yeah. I mean, Fetterman's just a liability to the Democrats as is being in that party. So as far as I'm concerned, it's like excising the cancer.
Yeah.
Like,
well, the one advantage to Fetterman being in the party is if he is the 51st Democratic senator and it's a 51-49 advantage, then it's the difference between Democrats having a majority leader or not.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. I loved your picks this week, man, because it
Thank
gave
you.
me some new content to watch later. And yeah, you know me, I come in with that internationalist perspective, so I feel like everything is as it should be.
Yeah.
So with that said, guys, this is a fun weekly recap, a bit on the longer side, but I enjoyed this one. Be sure to leave a like as you file out, subscribe to the bell icon notifications so you miss any of that 12 goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Blue Sky and Twitch because we are the best podcast on the internet today. And if you guys only watch this, we will catch you guys next Saturday. And that'll be July 25th. And I only say that because there will come a time from August 6th to the 11th. I'm going to be out of town. So there's not going to be a weekly recap that week. But you guys have got us, I think, for 2 more weeks before I'm going to be gone
Correct.
for a weekly recap.
July
And
25th and then August, I wouldn't say 1st.
August 1st, yes. And then, yeah, from the 6th to the 11th, I'm going to miss a bit of stuff, but we're always good about playing catch up. I'm not too worried.
Yeah.
And
Those are
so,
going to be the
yeah,
dog days, too. I'm probably going to be over swimming that whole week.
hell yeah, brother. I told Christy today because she feels like she hasn't been swimming enough. I'm like, I need to go to the beach at least once because I still haven't been swimming all summer. And summer's going to end quicker than you think. We're almost through
We
July,
are
y'all. That
basically
shocks the
at the
fuck out of me.
midway point right now of the summer.
Yeah, dude, I know. And like it's just crazy. But yeah, so I am gonna be I'll be reminding you guys again as it gets closer, but that just is on my mind. But yeah, next Saturday I'll be fine. We'll be back here with more weekly recap. And we'll have to see, Monday Gold's been kind of sluggish, and I still feel
Man.
like we have more Stardom content to get through. So Stardom for Thursday at 7 is a lock. But again, if all you watch is this, next Saturday 10:30, we'll be there. Be good to yourselves and each other. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, y'all. Love you. Big hugs. Tune in and peace out.